and we are live. I'm Eric.
I'm Andre.
And I'm Richie.
Welcome to the High in Power Podcast, guys.
Today, guys, is going to be a sick episode. We're dedicating this episode to all our special women out there, and we brought someone that represents all the women in this world very, very well. She has done a huge impact, not only to people's lives, but in the martial arts field and just the betterment of life. And yeah, man.
Yeah, and before we start, if you have the chance, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button, because with all your support, we're going to reach the top. Hey,
guys,
I want to talk a little bit, guys, about last episode.
Man,
like, what a story.
That was amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, make sure you check it out because that was deep. Josh gave us some knowledge that you cannot miss. He really showed us what it's about from coming to zero to being at the top and just struggling through that journey.
Dude, and the one thing, dude, that I carry from that episode is how real he was, bro.
So the vulnerability, the level of vulnerability, dude. The comments I got of people, dude,
I got goosebumps, bro. Literally, I got some goosebumps just by thinking of it, bro.
He opened up to us, like it felt so natural, and it was such a dope conversation, dude. I was so engaged. Sometimes I would didn't even think I was in a podcast. I was so engaged in the conversation.
Exactly, bro. Like we were talking about this, like we were like an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes in, and our producer JP was like, "Yo, guys, and we're like, and then me and Dad looked at each other like, bro, we didn't even notice. The conversation was so good, and we were just so intact with with him, and it's just that life stories, bro.
It's awesome.
The life stories of coming from the bottom, and now we're here. Shout out Drake. You know what I mean?
But all right, guys, just want to say thank you again for joining us another live, and just keep showing us love, and we'll keep giving you guys the dopest content.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, subscribe, like, share, go onto our Instagram page. Not only that, go subscribe on YouTube, because that, again, guys, you want to see us get bigger, and not only that, reach out more people, because that's the biggest thing here. How can we reach out to more people? And we can only do that if you guys are by our side helping us get to more people. So at the end of the day, like, subscribe, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go on our Instagram, and we're super excited for this.
Hey, man, this episode is so special, man.
Round of applause for all the women out there. Round of applause for all the women out there.
Hell yeah.
For
man,
real.
honestly, it's truly like inspiring. Yesterday, but we're gonna celebrate today. All the women in our life. You know what I mean? Especially me coming from a mama's boy. You know what I mean? Coming from someone that has a wonderful sister as well. Me always very connected to them. It's truly a blessing to have women in our life, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I would not be half the man I am today without my mom. She's done so much for me. She prays for me every day. Everything she tells me, all the advice, always sticks with me so much. And yeah, man, without her, I would not be who I am today.
Dude, I love just stop to think about how women are so strong, right? I mean, we all start with 100%. If there's not a woman there, it's not going to happen. We don't come to life. And the process of us becoming, again, a baby in a woman's womb, dude, everything they go through those 9 months to put us into this world and how strong they are, and emotions going everywhere, feelings going everywhere. Not only that, physically, maybe sometimes I've heard like women feel so uncomfortable with their body in that moment. And not only that, the self-esteem, everything is so difficult, but they get through it to go and put us out here. And dude, I'm so thankful for all the women, every woman out there, especially the ones that are in my life, teach me the biggest lessons that I have to learn.
And in this episode, bro, we're gonna truly like hit all the points on women and women equality, gender equality and all that stuff. And honestly, dude, in my opinion, women should be two things, bro. There should be who and what they want to be. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you want to be. Everybody has the chance to be great. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, guys, I mean, let's get to it, right? The woman we're bringing on today, she is a true champion for women, and not just that, but she's a true champion on the mats.
Yeah, she kicked my ass a couple times.
Guys, we grew up with her, and it's awesome to now be seeing her sitting on our couch here with us, talking to us and sharing all the greatness that she has done for this community, for everyone, not only in this country, but overseas as well. And we'll get all into that, right?
Yeah, man.
So get ready, guys, because we're about to give you some dope info.
And the achievements she hit, bro. The achievement that she, everything that she went through to get to where she is today, bro. It's just, especially in the field that she's in, a very male dominant, field, and she started glowing, she was like, a diamond in the
rough,
you know what I mean? And it's, you know, and that didn't stop her.
Yeah, 100%. Like Eric said, it's in the martial arts field, it's a very male-dominated thing, and it's very hard to get into that like field without being looked down upon just for being a woman. And I think she's broken many, many barriers. And like Eric said, the accomplishments she's had. She's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's a mom first and foremost, and she's a absolute master in capoeira, which is where everything originated from. And I'm excited to represent her. And I think
before we bring her on, I just want to again remind everyone that see that we're so thankful for our Power Fam right here on the chat. Let's go! I want clap.
Shout out Power Fam.
Clap. Let me hear that clap. Let me hear that clap. Yeah. All right, guys. I want to shout out here John Thornton for logging on. Luana Silva, Thais, for coming on. Lucas Barcelos. We have Samantha Silva, Fernando Ortiz, Tyler Rebello. Guys, so many people. Fire Kits is on the house.
Fire Kits.
Jenny Souza, Stay Golden. Hey, we got some more for you by Stay Golden. But guys, let's go. Andre, all on you, bro.
Yeah, guys, but I'm not going to say much more. I really want her to come on here and just tell her story. So, JP, roll that clip.
Roll that clip, JP.
Roll that clip.
All right, guys. Look who it is.
Round of applause for the one and only Ana Carolina Lima, known as Morena.
Caro, thank you so much for coming all the way from Lowell. We understand that, you know, you're such a busy woman. You're always in classes teaching kids, you know, teaching adults.
Came straight from teaching. We were here.
Yeah, honestly, thank you so much for coming in. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
And I just want to let people know. People are going to hear you guys calling me Carol. Nobody knows what that is because no one knows my name. Right?
Oops.
What did they usually call you?
Morena.
They call you Morena?
The name has gone.
Yeah.
True.
It's
It's
gone
stuck.
for
Where
years.
did that name come from?
Morena was because I started training capoeira when El Chan was, you know, famous. And it's a very interesting name because it came from a place that I didn't like it. It was a sexual compliment, kind of like, you know, you're like, oh, a loirinha, morena, da, da, da. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
So throughout my life and my journey in capoeira, I've had to re-signify that name. Wow. Even when people pull out songs, you know how capoeira, they have songs,
Yeah,
they sing for morenas.
Yeah.
It's like I will not sing particular songs because this is me respecting myself and re-signifying, you know, morena.
You put more power behind that whole name.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Fuck yeah.
So, I barely know you. So,
I know I only changed your diaper. Real talk, actually. Real talk.
No,
This
honestly, yeah.
is very real
Facts.
talk. I was his babysitter.
yeah.
No way.
Yes, we've known each other. That's why we're like family.
Yo, she's my family. Literally,
Yeah.
you know, I see her as a
Big
sister.
sis.
You know, we fight like brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And and it's honestly, but this whole journey that we had together, it's me seeing you go through life as well. It's truly inspiring. And what I really want to know, what I really want to show people is where it all started. So when you were in martial arts since you were a kid?
So, yeah, we met. You and I met. We lived in Ellenville. This hole in upstate New York, okay? Someone dropped a meteorite, made a hole in the middle of the mountains in Ellenville. Ellenville. And it was small and it was super ghetto and there was a lot of violence and there was a lot of my classes were separated, whites and blacks were separated.
Wow.
Yeah, I had that reality where you get the metal detector to get into the school.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And I was bullied a lot. My English wasn't good. I didn't speak English at all. We had moved from Florida, and I already went through some bullying there. I was very kind. I didn't know how to speak for myself. And
You were born in Brazil?
I was born in Brazil. I was born in Belém do Pará, and I moved to the States. And I had a hard life in Belém do Pará too. We had a rough life.
It's
Kind of the same situation.
Until today, it's still dangerous, right?
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It was kind of like my mom. Thank God she found God. Thank God she found God. But my mom wasn't okay at the time because she was also a kid who had a kid. My mom was 17 when she had me. So she didn't really understand how to handle a kid being a kid herself. Pretty much it's what it was. So she worked very hard. She worked a lot. And then I had my brother Thiago. And then my mother would be working all day. And I was, the one who was cleaning, who was washing clothes, and I was 5, 6, and to me this was completely normal, right? This was my reality. Learning how to cook, learning how to,
You had to mature fast.
Yes. What happened was when I started being more with kids, I didn't quite understand that dynamic. I understood how to be an adult, how to be a responsible adult, how to be there for my brother. My mother wasn't okay. And then my mother decided to come to the States for a better life, but my mother came first. So it means that I was still there in Brazil caring for my brother. Living between homes. My life has always been sporadic. Mm-hmm. And my mother moved around a lot. We even lived in the gold mines for like digging up gold.
Wow.
In Belém, Brazil?
In Brasilia.
Wow.
Yes, where like the big hoses digging up, playing with mercury like it was a toy. It's
Wow.
so pretty, it's so blue.
So shiny.
It's so blue, it's radiant. And you're like, no. So it was kind of, but we had to hunt and gather because it was camps, and it was a very interesting way to grow up. It wasn't ideal, but it did give me experiences, right? And in the totality of your life and the life that you're living, bad, good, it doesn't matter. Experience is experience. You can take what you can from it, what you're able to. Some people, they are too much on autopilot, too much on like the lower vibrations of feeling the anxiety, feeling that they can't, feeling that they're not capable. But I really believe that I'm capable of anything. I'm capable of anything. Yes. I just need to want it enough. Do I want it enough? If I want it enough, I can do it. Yeah. And it was a very interesting dynamic to live this kind of life, right? And then also, if you lived in the gold mines, there's also a lot of people dying. There's a lot of prostitution. There are a lot of drugs. There's tons of things.
It's intense.
So, exactly. Yeah. And then you're like,
especially being young, seeing all that, it's like, whoa.
You definitely, got more mature quickly than other kids.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. For certain aspect,
yeah.
There are aspects of life that kids need to go through.
Yeah.
Like I have my son. My son's 15. He's gonna be 15 next week on Tuesday.
Oh, shout out Jean.
Happy birthday to Jean.
Yeah. So then we lived a while away, and now we didn't live the United States life. We've been in the U.S. for a couple of years now. So now he has to learn basic skills that he didn't learn. Yeah. However, if you talk to him, it's like a conversation with someone who's seen a lot, right?
Oh, definitely.
And you bringing that up is actually like very cool because I talk to Jean a lot when I see him, and he's very deep. He's very good with his words. He's very articulate. Like he's a
smart ass.
If you talked to him, you would know.
Now he got muscles. He's flexing at home. All the time he's like, look at my 6-pack. I was like, okay.
He's like, see, Mom, you're not the only one that got the 6-pack now. I got it too.
That is what he tells me. That's so funny you say that. I was like, no, mine are deeper. I'm sorry. I'm not there yet.
Get your game up.
It makes him work even harder.
I mean, Carol, right now we just mentioned Gia, and then I mean your husband. Like he's a huge support for you.
Yeah, my husband is like 3-time world champ in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
And he had 4 MMA titles.
Wow.
He's also my jiu-jitsu teacher. So I'm a 2nd-degree black belt under him. So it means I've been in my black belt for 6 years now. And he is a very kind human, right? He's a very kind human, a very patient human. Yeah. And I'm kind. I'm not exactly patient. I don't even know how to beat around the bush. You know how people they go around to have conversations. I'm like, dude, the point's here.
Yeah.
Can we get
I like
to
that
it
though.
now?
Yeah.
I'm like that as well, honestly. I don't like beating around the bush. I'm straightforward. Like, this is how it is. This is how I want it to be.
Yeah. And it's amazing because you only grow when you have people that let you be you. Mm-hmm. And then this is what you said earlier. You only grow when you have people that let you truly be you. Mm-hmm. Because I am a woman who has a huge personality. I've always been like an alpha kind of female.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's something that I can't help, right? And then if I'm trying to fit into this box that says that I have to listen, which I did have to fit to it when I lived in the Middle East.
Yeah,
I
that's a
did,
very.
man.
We're
cool
gonna get to
story.
that. We're gonna go deep into that. I want definitely that. It's like I tell the boys, I want to know how that experience was.
So before,
but
before we talk about that, let's see. What got you into martial arts in the first place? What made you fall in love with martial arts? What introduced you to it? And
So in Ellenville, I was one of those, regular girl stories where you like look really thin, no one pays attention to you. Out of the blue, I go through puberty, and then I start getting all kinds of attention. And that attention came with, it's in the hood. So people are like, hey, shorty, what's up? What's up? I got that number, bro, boom. And then, all the girls hating on me, and I was getting beat up left and right.
Wow.
Once I got jumped by the whole cheer
What?
team. Yeah.
Is this because like they were jealous or?
Who knows? I think that when people decide to be violent towards other people, it is a reflection of how they feel inside.
Was this at school?
This was at school, but then it got bad where they started to follow me home.
wow,
But like that school, did you have a lot of diversity in there, or were you like kind of like the minority?
I
in
was
that
the
school?
only Brazilian.
that's
The
crazy.
only-
Tough environment.
Exactly. So even from like culturally, we wore tight pants. I show up in the hood with tight pants.
Yeah.
I got made fun of and I got jumped.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Nowadays, every girl had tight pants.
no, it is, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. And then, but that wasn't the worst of it.
Yeah.
I was struggling. I was suicidal at that point. It was bad. I didn't want to leave the house, but I have one of those moms that goes, "Do you want to get beat up by the kids in school? Would you rather get beat up by me?" So I'll go to
we know about that.
I'll go to school, Mom. It's okay. But then it got really bad. One night I was walking back from soccer practice, and it was such an iffy walk because I had to walk through this one road.
Like the
that had
worst
this
neighborhood.
No. It was this one road, okay, with this one light. Thank you. With this
welcome.
one tiny light in front of a cemetery. Tiny road, one light bulb in front of the cemetery. So there was this new guy who was around, and he had just come out of jail. Okay, he had just come out of jail. Everybody was talking about it, and all the girls was like, "Oh, he's so fine." And I was like, "He got, he
Prison
had,
tattoos and shit.
Yes.
Girls love danger.
I didn't, man. I wasn't even up for that. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't care that I played ball. All I cared about was soccer.
Yeah.
I care about soccer. But then one time I was walking home, and it was only him and I in that tiny little road with that one light, Yeah.
That's some scary shit.
It was. And then he goes, "Hey, shorty, what's up?" Da-da-da. And I'm coming back from soccer practice, and I just want to get home because my body said danger right
And
away.
how old were you at this time?
13.
Wow,
13, 12,
And how old,
so very young.
how old was he then?
20s. He was in his 20s.
Jesus
He was
Christ.
in his 20s.
Grown man.
But it's a thing for some reason, and we can say that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna blow it up right here. But Brazilians also are infamous for liking younger girls because it's a cultural thing from the past. Okay, I'm not saying Brazilians as a whole culture. I'm saying the way it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
The way it is now, people are understanding how to respect each other, how to respect women. This is a movement towards it. So many movements are going towards it, and we're all understanding that things just need to change for our daughters, for our sisters, for our mothers. But
Definitely.
facts, if you're like in a martial arts environment, especially, sometimes it can be like that. But the old school people, like in the hood,
Are very old school. Yeah.
and that's all they thought. They're like, "Oh, she reached puberty. Oh, okay, so I can talk now." And I was like, I didn't understand what that meant. So when we were there, I got physically assaulted.
Wow.
It didn't get bad because someone came. Someone showed up. But I did get I was held by my ponytail, and my head was hit against the pole.
Holy
the
shit.
I know.
That is crazy.
It is. It is.
And then how did he react to, like, going home and experience all that?
Me, I hid it. I used to have bangs. I hid it from my mom. I hid it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't hide it emotionally. I couldn't hide it. So I started getting really bad. She noticed, things just started going downhill from there.
Just piling up.
Yeah. So then I asked her. She didn't put me because she decided. I asked her. I was like, "Hey, there's a karate school downtown. Can you put me in there, please? I'd like to know how to defend myself." So I started training karate, and I learned how to punch, and I learned how to kick, and then I got into fights for like a year straight. Ba, 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 ba. because that's how it is. You kind of prove yourself, right? But then I understood how empowering it was learning how to defend myself, but not necessarily being violent. That was like the flip for me, but I was still very violent for a while. You guys met me. I was violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like short fuse. Like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me, dude.
Kind of. We actually have a comment here from one of the chat from John Thorne. He goes, her hands are registered with the police as deadly weapon.
Oh my God.
Don't mess
Being
around,
a
John.
black belt, is that true? I've heard that multiple times. Is that true?
Yes, I don't have to have a weapon.
Yeah.
So your hands are considered a weapon.
She's technically a deadly
Registered
weapon.
weapon. Yeah.
Apparently, I'm a weapon. Yeah. this organic weapon.
I have another question here to ask you. Some people are asking, what's your zodiac?
My sign.
Yeah,
Okay.
your zodiac sign.
So I'm very interesting. I
Break it
am
down for us.
I am a Cancer, so I'm taken by emotion. I'm the mother of all signs. You can see how it is for me, but I'm also a Libra. So I balance my emotional state with reason.
So when you say you're also a Libra, does that mean like you're in the cusp between the Cancer?
No, it means I have the sun sign. It's because we only talk about one sign, but we have a moon sign.
There's
and
a
sun
rise.
sign.
Oh yeah, my sister
Yeah.
tries to teach me all
That's
this.
deep, that's
this is
deep.
very it's very
Yeah.
confusing to me, honestly.
But there's a lot. I follow astrology. I do it because it keeps me focused, as
Nice.
well as like being able to write down. I journal a lot. So on the full moon, I'll write down the things I want to let go
Recently,
of.
there was a full moon.
Yes, I know. I told you. I was
Yeah.
like shedding light
I
on the stuff
remember,
you need to
yeah.
let go. And then on the new moon, I manifest. I start writing down the plans, the things that I want to do, or maybe I reiterate my ideas, and how I want to bring them about or manifest them some way. But I definitely try to mingle and meet as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Because I really think all it takes for someone to be like from a low to a high is you'd be like, hey, have some of that.
Here's some power.
Here, have some light and, spread it for me too.
But also, it goes back to like we kind of talked about this. I don't know if it was the second or first episode. It's like when you give someone your light, you're taking away yours as well.
Yeah.
So you got to have that strong energy inside of you.
That's what I'm saying. So there are people who are meant to give others
Wow.
energy to drink. Yes.
Wait, what?
They're made for that.
Yes.
Their spirit is just ready for that. Has the I see what you mean.
Yes.
I see what you
I
mean.
am made for that. I
Yes.
am made like Santa Ana. Santa Ana was there to give water for others to drink. So I'm here. I have so much of it.
Your
that
mission.
It's contagious.
Your
It
mission is to teach and to truly guide people.
yes.
To spread the light.
For me it really bothers me very much, and it took me a while to understand what I'm about, but it bothers me very much when people talk badly about themselves and when people talk badly about their capabilities, or even when people are like, you're so much more amazing than I am. I was like,
Jesus.
Karo, just the fact that you took such a deep breath to even say that phrase, it means how deep
How
it is
deep it
to
goes,
you.
yeah.
for me, it's a lot. Like I came here and I brought my crystals because I want to be in tune with the things
Explain
that I
a
want
little
to do.
bit. I mean, we all
Yeah, I
brought you,
know.
a lot of people don't understand crystals. I mean, explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I meditate every day, all the time. Meditate twice a day at least, every day. And the crystals, they are just, the earth is important and they're natural elements of the earth and they have a vibrational field of their own. Okay, some of them can be for different things. It depends on what your belief goes, but nevertheless, they clean energy. A lot of them are for different purposes. If you do meditate, then you know that the chakra system has different colors, and color therapy is known to completely change you. Like we're in this room right now, there's a vibe to it because the colors are arranged in a
Like the
particular way.
spectrum.
Exactly. So right now with me, I brought green fluorite, which is pretty cool, and that's to unify body and soul. Right? Because sometimes we want to be up here, but our emotions are actually in our bodies first. So sometimes it's hard to let go. And then the other one's for communication.
Oh, cool. What's the other one?
The other one's actually a mix of crystals that join together in the earth.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's a bunch of different ones. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, cool,
I
cool.
can't exactly tell you, but I know they're cool.
I want to bring us back on track, but right before we bring us back on track, you know, let's get the bills paid. You know what I mean? We got to get the bills paid. At the end of the day, we got to thank all our sponsors and everyone who's been supporting us since the beginning. And right now, I want to bring, especially talking about crystals and feeling amazing, having your energy to the top. Stay golden. Guys, gold is precious, and feeling like gold is even better. You want an amazing skin tone with that special glow? Don't miss out on Stay Golden. Stay Golden has services from spray tanning, bodybuilding competition tanning, Brazilian tape bikini tan, tooth whitening, tooth gems. You want to feel amazing? Stay golden.
Yeah, shout out Jenny.
Going back to what Eric asked you again, how did it all start? You started telling us a story that you were walking on that place. You saw that guy and
Started the karate classes.
Bro, and that's something I didn't even know. I didn't even know she started with karate.
Yeah, I started with Kempo karate, and then I moved on to kickboxing. Then I found myself in capoeira, but you know, my parents moved out of Ellenville because I was getting beat up all the time. I started going to night school. My life was literally...
Yeah, I feel like that was all our parents' goal, was to get the hell out of Ellenville.
Yeah, so one day I thought we were just going for a ride, but no, I noticed that everything was getting packed in the car and we left. So my mother didn't really let me know that we were leaving. One day we left, and I guess your family had already come, so we tagged along with the support. And then when I came to Framingham, down the street on 2nd Street, there was capoeira down the street. I was rollerblading down the street, and I hear the music, and I had heard it in Brazil before.
Beautiful music.
My mother didn't let me practice it at the time. She was like, no, that's the devil's music. I was like, what? It's not mine. No,
It's literally like the most spiritual version. Like, it's so deep.
Yes, but it goes again to culture, traditions, and misunderstanding of folklore. Okay, misunderstanding of folklore.
sure.
Because eventually she did find a pastor in the church that she's in now who printed up some information when she goes, Pastor, my daughter, I can't get her out of this thing that she does. And he's like, oh, my sister is your daughter. What is she doing? Is she using drugs? He's like, no, she's not using drugs. What is she doing?
She's doing capoeira.
She's doing capoeira.
No way.
I swear.
was
And he's like, sister, it's okay. Here's this information.
Because people that don't know, again, Brazil, guys, is one of the largest population of Christians. There's people that believe in Christ and just Catholic or Christian religion. The Brazilian has the biggest population of Christianity. Just believes in Christ. So at the end of the day, I mean, they're all usually trapped to that culture that again, if anything outside of that is wrong. Yeah. So it brings us back to what like you're saying, like your mom just being completely like, oh my God, she's doing capoeira or something. But like, Carol, like deeper into it, what's the background behind capoeira?
For you.
For me to have practice?
Just like how did capoeira start? How, I
Just continue on the story you were just saying.
No. So yeah, so I started practicing with Nidio Carranca back in the day. He was from Oxulufan Capoeira at first, and then I turned into Artimania at the time. And he was here, and I fell in love with the art, but one day he was gone. Boom. I went to the gym. You know, you go excited to train.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he was gone. But I had met Zé Conforme at...
Arches of Jedi.
I've trained with Zé Conforme back in the days.
I know.
We all did.
I know. I know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm still under Zé Conforme until today. So I was just talking to him yesterday.
With fight
Bro,
tag and all that.
And the thing is, like, you know, you've been through karate, and then you left karate for kickboxing, and then you went through kickboxing, and then after kickboxing, you left kickboxing to go to capoeira. What made you stick on? What made you like fall in love with capoeira?
I am one of those people who naturally likes to be in my body. So I like to dance. I love music, right? And I also like to, you know, there's fight, there's dance. But really what happened was when I heard capoeira music, it's like my soul was ignited in a way that I never thought it was possible. And then it's like as I started being in it, it's like it gave me permission to be anything I wanted and more. And that sky was the limit. And then I was good at it. I never knew how I did it. I was good. I mean, I've always been an athlete, but over there I was good and it felt good within.
It really gave you the power to like be even more yourself and bring that out.
It made me believe in myself. It made me believe in my skill. It made me believe in my capability. And Zé Conforme was instrumental for me to stay there because, you know, many people have different relationships with people. And I believe that we need to, for me, I always I always judge my relationship with people how it is me and you. It doesn't matter how it is between you and him. It doesn't matter how it is between you and him.
I agree 100%.
Me and you, we're cool. You treat me cool. You do me right. I do you right. We're good.
That's hard
Yeah,
too.
hell yeah.
Yeah, so Zé, I was very angry. I was called Bicho do Mato for like a year.
For you guys that are just knowing that means like beast of the forest, basically.
Yes, that was my original nickname.
Dude, he was so good with the nicknames. Like he called Marlon Garnizé. Dude,
O meu era
he called-
Manos Latino.
dude, you know what he called me?
Because she was always dancing, bro. He was always moving.
Yo, you
her
know what he
hips.
called me, bro? He called me Micharia. I'm like, this guy.
By the way, Micharia is almost worthless. Almost translates
Right
as
there.
worthless.
I'm like, thanks, coach. I appreciate it.
The thing with
What a
nicknames-
motivating coach.
Man, but that guy was awesome, bro.
He was
He
different.
still is.
still is,
Yo,
yeah.
I saw him. He looks like he got frozen in time.
He didn't change?
He still looks the same.
He's always been
Is he
ripped.
He's
ripped?
still ripped.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
He
dude.
still has 4% body fat. Doesn't have like
Guys,
one wrinkle.
wrinkle.
Shout out to Zé Conforme
Yeah,
because he
bro.
has changed the life of so many kids. Even in my
lot.
time when I was in middle school and there was kids doing bad things, he would go and ask us to bring those kids into our classes, and he just acquired and just I would say not even acquired, just he just earned so many hearts and trust of people that would just go to him because he was a good guy to just talk to and to just have as a coach.
No, he was, and you're right.
Still is.
It's the same thing for me. It's if my report cards were bad, I didn't get to train. I was put
Wow.
back into the white cord a bunch of times because I did stupid things. And he's like, "That's it. You get a white cord, and you have to come, but you can't play.
That's good.
Come back up.
Can I play an
Just to play
instrument? No."
was-
Você tá de que boa. He would call me bleach. You're bleached. It's like, fine, I'm bleached.
He was good connecting with people.
Yeah.
He definitely was.
He's someone that, like I was telling you about, he's someone who gives light.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
always like that. It's like he has so much of
He
it all
really
the
does,
time.
Faye. And you have to be different to have something like that. You
Oh,
can't
for
just
sure.
be. You can't just want to do that. You have to have that strength within you to want to do that.
Agreed.
It's like me and the boys, and I'm being very raw with you guys. Everyone who's watching us right now, like me and the boys were talking about it, and we're like, guys, like, again, we're putting our face out there. We're really trying our best to help out other people and to share all this information with the people who's sitting with us. But remember, guys, we got to be strong spiritually as well. Because if we want to share that water and share that light with people, we have to make sure we're also reinforcing ourselves and also building ourselves for that. We
Yeah.
can't just like you said, you can't just want to do that. You know
No,
what I mean?
it also means going into the cocoon on purpose.
Wait, can you
What do you
break that,
mean
wait,
by
can you
that?
break that down?
Yeah, break that
I
down.
know, I'm going to break that down, and it's magic, and it's going to suck. So I only grow because I constantly am very clear about the bad in me or the things that need to change, the things that I don't want to see about myself.
Being cautious.
Yes, but being conscious means you go into a state of pain. It hurts to know that you're a douchebag sometimes. It hurts to apologize when you do something wrong. And it also hurts when you're trying very hard to change a behavior, but the behavior and the automation is much stronger than the
Wow.
will you have.
Wow.
So you're kind of basically always holding yourself accountable.
I am, and I go through phases. I go through phases where all I do is let myself feel the emotions, and it hurts, and I cry. I can't stuff them down because that's when it goes wrong, is when you stuff it down and put it aside. Like I said, the body's a very intricate machine, and the emotions, they always get held into the body first because we're animals before anything. We're animals, and we have our reptilian brain. And the reptilian brain is responsible for fight, flight, and freeze. But we also have suggestive ways. We can feel like, oh, everything's fine, but then something in the background we weren't paying attention to can be something that was bothering us, but we didn't notice it.
Like the subconscious.
So we can take automation consciously and unconsciously, and you can also pop yourself back. So you think you're having a memory, right? You go, okay, I'm gonna ride this bicycle. Memory of riding the bicycle does the upload like the Matrix. I'm riding the bicycle. Okay, this is cool. And then you're like, yeah, this is me riding the bicycle in the present, but it is proven that you actually, you go to the past to retrieve the experience.
Like the saying goes, it's like riding a bike because you never forget.
You never
necessarily.
forget, but
Yeah.
no, you actually go back, you retrieve. And when we retrieve memories, we actually live them now. So thus the conundrum of people who have anxiety and depression. They're thinking about something. They're like, oh, you're just thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. PTSD as well. You don't think about it. You live it. You think about it, you live it. So then for me, changing everything was making sure that the music I'm taking in is not saying stuff that's giving me subliminal, subconscious. And the people I exposed myself to, the conversations I had, the things that came out of my mouth, the way I expressed myself to people. And then, you know, holding myself accountable for being like, you know, sorry. You got that. I apologized to you before.
All the time.
I do, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that more than you know. Yeah, that's because he presses my buttons, man.
No,
And
bro,
sometimes
honestly,
I'm like, yo.
Me and Marlon are not easy to deal with. You know what I mean? And I hold myself accountable for that too. You know what I mean? Because, you know, after, you know, for example, when Carol was trying to sleep, you know, especially if she have the kids, and then me and Marlon are like
downstairs
are like switching the house, you know, make the house like go crazy, and you know she just wants to sleep, and you know sometimes it's just you press the wrong buttons.
And you find out the hard way.
Just to
not press those buttons.
to draw a picture here for people who don't know, Marlon is Carol's sister, who we all grew up with. Brother.
Yeah,
Marlon. Carol's brother, which we all grew up with. And again, guys, we've all been such a tight family. And this is why Eric can share stories like this, because at the end of the day, Eric's been part of Carol's life.
But one thing that I love about Carol, dude, is just like doesn't really take like even me, I don't take things personal, you know what I mean? I also see her side of everything. So then next day, you know, she texted me like, yo, I'm sorry. I know that this, that. And then, you know, we go and see each other. We hug it out. And then, you know what I mean? So that's why I consider her my family, bro, because it's just the connection we have and, you know, and the experience is just magical.
Agreed. And I don't think it goes only one way. I think it goes both ways.
Oh, definitely.
You know, because through everything that happened in my life, I was propelled back into the States in a very, very difficult situation where I was pregnant and I was by myself without my husband. I knew I was going to have to be here, raise the kids on my own, go through pregnancy after having had done like 3 years of treatment to get pregnant. It's like, oh, you got to leave. And poop, oh, you're pregnant. Now you're pregnant.
Like,
now you're pregnant.
Surprise.
Yeah, but it's not surprised. Everything is perfect. Everything is the way it's meant to be. It is perfect. The struggle is perfect. The struggle is always perfection at its best. Wow. You know what I mean? The point is, like, sometimes we are too caught up on mundane things and things don't matter to understand the message, especially when you're perpetually going over the same situation. You're like, whoa, I'm here again. I did this again. I'm in this place again.
It beats you up differently.
So but instead of going, oh my God, I'm in this place again, you'd be like, oh crap, I did not get the lesson.
Yes.
I got to do it again.
Is it kind of like the lack of seeing the bigger picture?
It could be the lack of seeing the bigger picture. It could be a simple thing that you're missing. It could be so much, but nevertheless, you're missing something. And sometimes you get it right away. Sometimes it takes you months. But the process, if you're continuously going in that spiral, what's the definition of insanity, right? Is doing the same thing
and expecting a different result.
Over and over and expecting a different result. And when you're caught up in the storm.
Guys, well, that's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, rewind that. Rewind. JP, let's rewind that one real quick. Rewind that one. I want to hear it. Where's our rewind button? Volta. Cadê o rewind? Cadê o rewind? Cadê o rewind? Cadê o rewind? Volta aí. Definition of insanity. Carol, joga aí pra gente aí, pra todo mundo que tá ouvindo.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
That's deep.
It is, and it doesn't happen. So when I know that I'm perpetually going through the same cycle, the same feeling, crying for the same thing, I'm always trying to find a different way to go. You know, it's like a labyrinth, and I hit a wall, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the cocoon again.
I love how you use the cocoon.
Yeah, that's a really good reference.
But it is
because the cocoon you're in within your own self, and that's it.
Exactly.
I get that.
That's
And how do you emerge out of it?
I get that.
You emerge a butterfly, man.
Wow.
Right?
That's deep.
It is.
I love it.
But it is the cocoon. So it's like we're going through it. And then when I was here, right, when I came back, I was working at the company.
Yeah,
right. I was working at New View, and I was pregnant, and this is a whole new reality. I went from being a professional, right? Professional. I built world champions, a couple of them. You know, one of them who was actually mute and deaf, Was my best student, man.
No way.
From scratch.
So ready? Let's really back a little bit because I want to actually go deep into that story about how you were in that situation, because you were saying you were by yourself when you came back because you were living in Dubai, right?
I was living in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi,
It
yes,
was
yes.
actually in Al Ain.
Before you tell us the Abu Dhabi story, Eric, New View. We mentioned New View. I want to hear about New View, bro.
Man, New View Marble and Granite, straight from Franklin, Massachusetts. Man, these guys, I'm not really familiar with them, but they are magnificent. How do you say it?
Magnificent.
Magnificent. That's what they are, okay? Man, they are so professional, from customer service to installation quality to fabrication quality, guys. And we treat each other like a family, and customers love knowing that we're basically a family. Man, if it's kitchen, vanities, shower walls, fireplaces, jacuzzis, hot tubs, anything we can put stone on, we're doing it.
Let's
Look
go.
at this table here. We made this table. If you can't, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but the legs are also made out of stone. Man, it's pure craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship.
I
got that.
I need to learn how to say these big words.
You're killing it. You're killing it. And guys, for you guys that don't know, Eric helps the business, and again, he's actually helping run the business every day in the office with the customer service, going out to customers. I'm giving you quotes. If you guys need anyone who hits you up and gives you a call, Eric, what number should they call and what Instagram?
Hey, 508-541-3909. That is the main line for our company. If you want to reach me personally, I'm not going to give my number out, but you can slide in my DMs. That can definitely help you out. And our Instagram is New View Marble and Granite.
And on our highlights, we have every sponsor there. If you guys are any questions about any of our sponsors, you can always go to our highlights and click on the sponsor link.
Yes. So, Caro.
Abu Dhabi, living in Dubai.
Yes, I lived there.
Was it very hard as a woman to live
Yeah,
in?
going back to the whole thing of today representing women and talking about that. That's a very, very strong topic over there.
As a Western woman, it was extremely hard to be told what to do and have no way to resolve something. No way at all.
So
I
it's
had
really
to call
like
my
that.
husband.
It's really like that.
It got better from the time that we arrived. When I arrived, it was really, really bad, and there weren't that many expats because Al Ain, the reason why I said the name specifically is because it is in the district of Abu Dhabi, right? But it is also the birthplace of Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and Al Nahyan.
These are all like the kind of like government men that run the area.
This is one guy.
Oh, what?
That was one name.
That's a sheikh?
That's one name. They have 6 names. Yeah. So the sheikh that is responsible, Sheikh Zayed is the one who put the country together. The country is not that old. It's like 51 years old.
That's insane.
It is. And they basically, it's a couple of emirates that got together. That's why it's
United Emirates.
called the United. Yep. So it's 7 different emirates. They look very different. It's really cool because like the sand color is different in each emirate, you know.
No
Yeah.
way.
It is. So if you go to like in Al Ain where we lived, it's really red. But then if you go to Abu Dhabi, it's more yellow. And if you go to Dubai, it's going to be more like of a beige. It's different and interesting. But being there and not being able to resolve my own things and having to be quiet. Because over there they have this expression, a coxinha. So when they tell you to wait,
It's like this.
They just do this.
wait. Yeah, they don't go like this. They go like this.
They go like
Wait.
this.
Right? Or crazy.
So give an example. So you're talking to like a man.
So I'm talking, okay, horrible example so you guys can really feel it.
Like the extreme.
So my son got lost in the school bus for 2 hours. In the school bus in the United Arab Emirates where people don't speak English, and they also, I don't know why, but the bus didn't have an AC, and it was like 115,
Holy
20.
So it's overpopulated.
150, 20 degrees out?
Overpopulated, no degrees.
No.
It's hot.
Oh,
hot.
okay. I thought you were talking about a lot of people.
No. Degrees. It was hot. It was
No
like
way.
fry the egg
It's like
right
a
there.
sauna.
It's like dry heat.
Super dry heat, super hard. And then they lost him. And I'm like going through turmoil because I'm new in this country. There's also a 9-hour difference, and jet lag is real, my people. And for me as an athlete, it took me like a month or 2 to get my muscles apt to train. And they lost my son. And I went to the school, and I'm trying to talk to like the bus driver or whatever, and he's Egyptian. And I'm talking, and if they're Emirati, which means they're from there, they are allowed, if they get upset, to kick me off the country.
Whoa.
I depend
No
on my visa.
way.
Yes, because they're all brothers and sisters. You don't know whose brother and whose sister they
How
are.
powerful they are.
Exactly.
Man, the connections.
So, you know, when they tell you, shut up, you kind of just shut up.
Jesus.
Because you shouldn't argue. But, you know, with my time there, I learned that if they're Egyptian or Pakistani or Indian or whatever, I can fight. But if they're Emirati, I cannot. And then for my husband, it was the other way around. Like the women, you know, they also don't want the guys next to them. And if it's like a lot of restrictions, you can't show shoulders. And if they get upset with you, you get kicked out of the mall. You can't show like a little bit of thigh, or it's a lot.
Very
So
restrictive.
Carol, being a Brazilian, which we're so loud, we're so expressive about our feelings, our emotions, our body, everything. I mean, we're very proud of who we are and on our body and in our mind and everything. How was that to you? Was it like...
it was difficult. It was very
It's
difficult.
like putting you in a cage.
It was. It was. I cried a lot. I think for the first 3 months, I cried every single day, all the time, especially since I didn't have my escape valve, which was the training. It took me 2 months of us doing, you know, training to learn the work and the teaching, because we were teaching at school systems and at the military. And I was just stuck there.
And there you were training jiu-jitsu, right?
Oh, dude, that was the best thing about there was the jiu-jitsu mats. I literally was in one of the best mats in the world,
The passion.
training every day. No, it's literally, this is a very literal thing I'm telling you. One of the best mats in the world. Like you see all those black belts that are coming in for the big tournaments, they all would go through that mat.
Wow.
So I got really a chance to see real jiu-jitsu and flourish in a really difficult environment, you know? But as for being a woman in a place like that, it made me understand, because there was a lot of seclusion too. So sometimes I can only train with the girls, and sometimes I can only go to the girl stuff. That made me get in touch with my femininity, with the woman I was, with the mother, with the good and having sisterhood. Because only then I realized, after seeing all the women there and how competitive they were, which was just like me, because we were all taught that, I was like, wow, we don't have any unity.
Yeah.
We literally compete 24/7. How can we flourish if we compete 24/7? And then for us, it's very difficult. You have to wear, you know, zip-up suit under your kimono. So when you go weigh in, you're like perfect weight dropping in. Like me, I dropped to lightweight.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't eat to be there.
Yeah.
And then you still have to account for the zip-up, you know?
Because you have to cover all the areas.
Yeah, and if you show skin, you get disqualified.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that is crazy.
It
Especially in a
is.
sport like jiu-jitsu, because you got so much moving around.
That's why you wear the zip-up, you
And
know?
the
And even
zip-up,
for
like,
women.
It's like a
Legs
jumpsuit.
and
So would it be comparable to like a wetsuit when you're going surfing?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly like a wetsuit. You pull it in the back.
Wow.
And there were a lot of things. Like when I arrived to my school, they just dropped me off, and I was going to teach at an all-girls school, but they looked at me weird because I had pants on. They're like, wow, you have pants on. And then I was dressed in all blue, and they thought I was the custodian, so they sent me to the custodian's office. They're like, you're coming to clean? I was like, no, jiu-jitsu. What is that? I was like, jiu-jitsu. So I started from scratch. No one knew what jiu-jitsu was. No one knew why I was there.
I thought jiu-jitsu was like
The national sport.
The
over there.
national sport.
That's the thing. I was the pioneer. So I was going brand new. No one knew what it was. No one knew what I was doing there. No one knew what it was about. The girls didn't want to put pants on. The girls looked at the positions as weird. The women didn't respect me because,
The culture.
yeah. And also, I'm Brazilian, but I look indigenous because that's where my people are from. But over there, to them, I looked Filipino. And Filipino usually are the help. So every store I'd go to, they asked me to get something in like somewhere high. Hey,
Shells or whatever.
can you get that on the shelf for me, please? You know? And I'm like, I don't work here. Oh, I'm sorry. You know?
That's crazy.
I mean, Caro, a big thing here, I mean, we wanted to bring in the second topic with you was really about women empowerment, like how important women are nowadays. And again, especially how important and all the challenges that women face every day, right? You being in Abu Dhabi and just going through those challenges as a woman, like, did that make you feel, because at the end of the day, America's like live free and all that. We have so many rights. Did that make you appreciate your life and all the rights you had here?
Most definitely. I appreciate wearing a spaghetti top, and I appreciate wearing my shorts, and I appreciate saying the things I want.
Because we love to complain, right?
That's the
and we
thing.
live here and we have so much freedom, but we love to complain.
Everything changed. My life there, and even not just that, but like looking at nature, because I only saw sand. So here I live on the other side of Massachusetts, and where I live is full of mountains and rivers, and it's beautiful,
Hike.
absolutely gorgeous. And it made me appreciate everything, the little freedoms, the being able to say no to something, because sometimes there I would work months at a time without a day off. Like people, it was different. It was necessary. It was amazing, but it was different. So when you get a men's view, it's like, oh, asking a guy, and he worked in Abu Dhabi with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's going to be like, it was amazing because they can wear whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. They can resolve whatever they want. Getting their license is easy, right? For me, it was all like, where's your husband?
For everything you did.
And even worse is because Gene is not Baka's biological son. So
Yeah.
they'd be like, they wouldn't understand.
Oh, to them it was like completely foreign. Like they're like, what do you mean?
Forbidden, not even foreign. It's completely like forbidden for them to do something like that. And they're
It used to be much worse, but like in the time I've been there, I got to see women empower themselves enough to like
Awesome.
start movements to be like, first you have to study, first you have to get a job,
awesome.
to then marry. So I have students now that now are wives, and they're like, no, I negotiated with my husband that if he, because they still have arranged marriages.
Of course.
It's like, no, I negotiated with my husband that I want to finish school, but they have babies and they're still doing it because, you know, you guys got to see through it my struggle. I was studying. I didn't want to stay stuck where I was, and going through that, having to care for a child. When your hormones are all over the place, when you're not even supposed to be going back to work yet, when your cycle is not a day cycle, we have a month cycle. So I fluctuate in personality throughout a whole month. I fluctuate on how much weight I can carry and how well my body will perform in a month.
Wow.
Crazy.
You guys fluctuate in 24 hours.
Yeah.
My dad has always said something that women are built different. They bleed for 7 days and they still survive.
No, yeah, we are. We are built different. And then that happens in like mentally. It's like it goes all over the place. It's like, how do you feel? And then you feel kind of weird and your body feels kind of sensitive. You want to be around people. You don't want to be around people. Then people are like, hey, you're like, hey. It's so hard. Imagine like you're like, it's already hard to have emotional management when you're a regular human. Then when you're a woman, you're like, they're
All
like,
over the place.
she's crazy. It's like, no, this is what happens, bro.
I have a human inside of me.
No, and not even that. Like when you're pregnant, people care for you. It's visible. You have a belly. There's a child in you.
Yes.
But you know what the most vulnerable time for a woman is? Postpartum.
Ooh.
Postpartum.
How come?
Let's go into that.
Postpartum is difficult. Everything hurts. You are going through, literally your body was pumping so many different chemicals into you when you had the child. The child comes out, your body just goes into a deficit. Everything was given to the child. We lose lots of hair. We come back with a diaper, straight up diaper. Okay, if they tell, no, it's just a pad. It's bullshit. It's a diaper. Come back with a diaper, and then things hurt. But then you have to walk. You have to keep managing the house, especially if you're alone and if you don't have help. But you forget everything because you get mind fog.
It's crazy you bring that up because I remember like going over your house and when I went to hang out with Marlon and stuff, I would remember you holding Ayana and then you'd be holding like a book and then you'd be in the kitchen like cooking up something. I'm like, yo, what? Like, how are you doing all this at the same time?
You definitely have to be like a big multitasker.
Yeah, in women we have different brains, right?
Yeah.
We can make more connections at once. That's why I'm understanding how to communicate with men more. So the conversation when I'm talking to you, it needs to be objective. You can understand emotions, but it's different. A woman always sees everything through an emotional lens.
For sure.
So even when she's training, you guys are talking about how hard it was physically, and then if you're talking to a woman how the training was, she's going to be talking about how emotional it was to take that punch to the face and not get upset. Because that's how it is for us. For us, everything goes through an emotional filter. Every conversation. So my husband would be like complaining about something, and then I'll be complaining about maybe the same thing, but in an emotional
It
aspect.
went deeper. It was even like more.
For us, it's just different. We feel the world, and then you guys have to be more objective. This is balance. This is the way it's meant to be. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is like a downside for women being so emotional all the time?
I don't think there's a downside for women being so emotional all the time. I think, unfortunately,
Or like dealing with certain things
Elevated emotions.
with emotions
yes.
instead of like, just
Cognitive thinking.
Yeah.
Yes. What I think is throughout history, we ended up building cycles and structures around the way a man is built, which is, it's how it was done. So right now, instead of us being like, okay, some countries, they give you time off when you're on your menstrual period. Some countries, they give you lots of time off, especially postpartum. They have someone come to your house to make sure you're mentally okay.
Wow.
Right? Because it's a time of, a lot of people don't talk about this. Postpartum depression, very high suicide rate.
Yeah.
Postpartum depression is real.
Yeah.
And then you're there trying to do all these things and going through these emotions, and then you have a world. To me, it doesn't matter that I'm emotional. To me, it matters that someone is calling me crazy when I'm emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I don't have a sense of self-expression and comfort in being myself through the turmoil, then I don't feel supported as a human. If I don't feel supported as a human, I will not flourish. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
But like you guys are changing it right now. This is a new generation that's being more sensitive and understanding that women have these feelings that we need to understand, right? I had to have a conversation with my husband and like teach him about my cycle and be like, this is how I feel throughout all these phases, because now I know, because I'm a woman and I didn't have that information. And that is sad, right? But if you're going and you're in your cycle or you're postpartum and you're expected to go back to work after not even a 3-month leave, you're like literally still finding yourself.
Still recovering.
Yes. And then there's also like the child and mother bond. It's so important at the beginning of life, not just mother, but father, that downtime. You know, I think fathers should have a longer paternity leave too. You're like a child just
You know,
came
that
into the
actually
world.
recently changed. Like
No,
recently,
in some states,
Massachusetts is one of
yeah,
them.
so states are started to change the way that when women gets pregnant, they're gonna be able to leave their work for a certain amount of time. I think it's like what
Husbands in Massachusetts now get a full 90 days leave of paid.
Fathers.
For father paternity
really?
leave. Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
it's new. And I think, you know what? I think the pandemic showed us a lot because we were able
Why
to
it
be
matters. Yeah.
we were able to be together. We had no choice, bro. You're like, we locked in this house.
You saw how much of a difference it makes.
We
Yeah.
did. And then we saw how disconnected we are,
Yeah.
right? From each other. We couldn't be very close. So all this reality, I think it changed the way that everyone is thinking about what a family life in a day-to-day basis needs to be. But I feel like one of the biggest problems we have right now is the lack of just mindfulness and attention and consciousness, because we are now held in a life that we use our tools 24/7, right? We
Yeah.
use our tools 24/7. We don't stop and just look at the air or look what a bird is doing or
No.
how the sky looks.
Everyone's always like this.
Yeah, man. So sometimes I go for walks with my dog and I do walking meditations and I leave my phone. I leave my phone all the time on purpose because I work with social media. So I
That's
have to be there all
important,
the time.
But I feel like in your generation, in our generation, it's easier for us to do that. It's easier for us to put the phone down and start like just living a life without technology. But I feel like nowadays people are so glued.
The new generation, the Generation Z.
Honestly, from my opinion, what I've
No.
seen, I don't even think it's a generational thing, man. Phones are a drug. Like if you get caught in it, because sometimes I see my parents
Agreed.
just looking at Facebook like 4 hours straight for no reason, just looking
I
at the
don't think
randomest
it's a
stuff.
generational
It's not.
thing. It's a conditional thing.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. They have measured that losing your phone is like the equivalent of like coming off of a cocaine,
Literally,
coming off
yeah.
of drugs.
It's a
Your body
high.
goes
I
through
mean,
withdrawals.
Kind of last episode, I talked about my experience of cleansing from Instagram and social media for 6
Mm-hmm.
months. Guys, I learned so much with myself through that. And I talked about that in the last episode. If you guys want to catch up, just watch the last episode. And again, if you haven't yet, subscribe, like, and share. And always go back to our YouTube page because we got you the best content ever.
Yeah, that is true, guys. Now you guys got me thinking. There's sometimes that I see myself scrolling and then I wake up and out of it. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck am I doing?
Suggestive. See, suggestive. You have suggestive kind of neurological patterns that just happen. You automatically, you wake up, boom, up, pick up the phone. And
It's
you're
a
like,
habit.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's funny that you said that, because now I'm like waking up, I'm not going to my phone. I'm just going. So I started meditating when I wake up. It's very hard because I'm Richie. You know this. I hate giving the excuses, but I have ADHD and I feel like it's very hard for me to concentrate. It's very hard for me to clear out everything out of my mind when I meditate. But the more I try, the more I get into it, the more I get better, and the more that I can.
See, but that's what you're talking about. See, you're talking about exactly Exactly, but in a different lens, right? So right now you have a brain that's used to being stimulated in a very particular way. Okay, you have ADHD as well, but there's tons of research that mindfulness and meditation can both cure ADHD, bipolar disorder, tons of things.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have a mind that's perfect, but we're like rushing it with everything all at the same time, and we have so many things to do, and we're in a rush. Do you ever sit with a friend without being like, oh my God, do I gotta go? Who do I gotta call? What do I gotta do now? Do you ever just go,
Just chill.
We don't. We're always busy. Our brain is always busy, and we're in this. It's the same thing for martial artists. We train martial art because martial arts gives you a laser focus. If you're thinking about techniques and how you need to get from A, B to C and D, you don't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
You have time for A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
You know, any other kind of practice. So if you go to the gym, if you're moving your body, it's already a lot. But the meditation, sitting with yourself, it's super hard.
Yeah.
And super necessary, bro.
Yeah.
Super necessary.
And I definitely feel like it is necessary. That's why I try every fucking morning, even though if I don't succeed, you know. But I know it's important. I know it's something I need, and I know it's gonna make me a better person as well. You know what I mean?
And I want to kind of rewind a little bit and just go back to like mentality and just being one with yourself. And I want you to elaborate more on the postpartum thing, because I feel like we need to dig a little deeper into that, and especially you, because you specialize in things like that. And I want people to know that they can follow you on Instagram and all your sources of information, because you can help out a lot of women that are going through that right now. So just give us a little bit more information and elaborate on that, please.
Yeah. So through my pregnancy journey, I started learning hypnobirthing. That's what I did, hypnobirthing. So I wanted to have a natural birth because the Emirati women, they believe that you're closer to God during the pain of birth and you can ask for anything you want. So I was like, I'll just feel that birth pain and I'll be able to ask to have unity in my family and get out of this chaos. But then through that, I started learning about breath work, and I started learning about the body, and then I decided to start studying. So then I got my NASM certification. Then from there, I started doing physio training, and then I started just eating up all the information I could.
What is
postpartum. National American. It's a personal training certification that's like the most famous.
It's targeted right for like that kind of.
No, it's just personal training.
Oh, okay.
It's just personal training. It's how I started because I knew I wanted to build a business.
Yes.
But at first I thought I wanted to only do personal training. So I was like, let me get to know the muscles. Let me get to know all of that. But with that, I was studying hypnobirthing. And then with my own body going through the changes, I started taking all these small certs because they were all over online, right?
You're incorporating it into it.
Yeah, small certs about the woman's body, about the pelvic floor, about movement. And then I started working with only women exclusively at first, right? But then I realized that we all have a pelvic floor, and that diapers are like the biggest growing business in the world. And that men need to be breathing and working on their pelvic floor too.
Sure.
Yeah, even though they don't have babies. But yeah.
Can you explain what pelvic floor is?
Okay, so your pelvic floor, you know the muscles in your bicycle seat, literally, you know, the muscles under there when you sit on a bicycle seat, that's your perineum. So, right? So that's your genitals under there. Your perineum is
the
literally
space between your butthole and your balls.
There you go. But your perineum is like that whole thing that's under there, okay? And then laid on top of that, a couple of layers is your pelvic floor, okay? Your pelvic floor and your diaphragm, that's up here. This is a concave bowl. This is also a concave bowl. There is a function in breath that helps your body to be able to use its utmost potentials. Because people think that I'm always like doing a bunch of sit-ups, but I have a six-pack because I breathe like crazy. I breathe a lot. I manipulate my joints. I understand how breath goes in and out.
This is where your breath techniques come into play, right?
Yes.
It's crazy because in a couple weeks, I believe me and Andre are gonna actually take some breath classes with Guy Chavez. It's gonna be like a crazy new experience that we've been wanting to try. So
no, it's awesome. Breath is the way. When you're like, I try to meditate and I couldn't meditate. I couldn't sit for 2 minutes and meditate. But I started sitting and breathing for 2 minutes. Then I started breathing for 5. Then I started breathing for 10. Yeah. Then it became so quiet. Then I started doing it for 30, then an hour, then.
And it didn't even feel like it was that long. You were just there.
Because there's a correct way to breathe, right?
There are many different breathing patterns. It depends what you want. But generally, yes, there is a correct way to breathe, and most of us don't breathe correctly,
Through
which
our
is why
nose.
we're stuck. Also, see, that's another animal over there, man. The nose.
Let's leave that for later.
The nose. Oh, there's so much research on
But
the
so
nose.
so how did all that breath work and the meditating, how did that help you through the postpartum and that whole journey
So
with that?
the breath work helped me close my diastasis recti, which is the split in the middle of the stomach, right?
Which is where the baby is
Yeah.
being created?
No, basically what happens is when we get that expansion, you think that things just expand. No, the abdominal muscles,
It
they
like
split.
opens. What?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
No wonder she has.
Yeah, yeah,
six-pack.
yeah.
I'm joking.
No, they split in half.
That is
Literally, the
insane.
middle, the rectus abdominal muscles, which is the middle, it opens up to make way for the baby.
Going back to how powerful women are to go through that stuff, man.
And then when it swells, right, and you're there, if you're not careful of how you use your core during the pregnancy, you can push it open more.
Whoa.
Now, here's the thing. This is not something that only happens to pregnant women. Basketball players have diastasis recti from
From like dunking
forcing.
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
So the men can get a split as well. But for women, it's natural. It's normal, right? So I healed that, as well as like when your uterus is starting to shrink post baby, it hurts a lot. So doing exercises also teaches your body how to detox the pain, the hormones that you don't need. So I started from there, right? I was like, oh no, first I just want to do it to myself. This is only for me. But as time went, it was like, oh, and then people kept asking, and then I started to teach. And then, like I said, at first it was only women. And then I started teaching men. Now I teach men and women. But when I teach men and women, what I want to empower female leaders. That's what I'm doing. It's not just empowering women and men in general, because I think we need to work better together.
Yeah.
It's time, right?
Awesome.
Women
Yeah,
are the
of course.
nurturers. The men are the structure. And together,
Together we can kill it.
And
hell yeah.
And that's a perfect segue actually into I think what we're gonna bring up next. Because a lot of we put up Richard actually put up like a questionnaire before the interview today, and it was just like a lot of women asked us these very specific questions about just self love, how they put themselves out there more, how they can be more of themselves and be powerful. Like, cause you said you consider yourself more of an alpha woman, and me, like growing up with you, I met you through capoeira, through martial arts, and I remember being in your classes and you teaching me a lot of these different things. And the biggest thing that I took away from martial arts is discipline and having like your own strength to hold back. And going back to what you said, like holding back for things, because you know how to fight. You don't want to just be fighting all the time and angry, but you got to learn. You learn how to control that. And how do they apply that to a woman getting more of herself and being more in tune with her own femininity and using it as a strong source instead of looking at it as something that's weak?
I think first of all, people don't do enough practices to be in their body, right? And sometimes when you're in that body and you understand, like if I tell you right now to feel your toes and to feel the sole of your feet and to have the sensation riding up and feel the power in your legs and feel that you're literally in an electric magnetic
That you feel
person,
the energy
that the
just-
energy in the ground is literally going through you.
Yo,
For women, it does. You feel it,
I
right?
just got like
I know, but you do.
You
That's
felt
what
the
I'm
chills?
saying.
Bro, just thinking about it.
Because it does. Because you're made to build energy in different ways, but we don't use it enough to be in tune with it.
Wow.
Now, when you get to the women, and then we're talking about all this awareness, when it comes to the pelvis, a lot of women have a block there because that's our center of gravity, the pelvis. So I think that anything for women or men, but for women especially, it needs to start with self-love. It's what kind of language are you using to
Yes.
yourself? How do you talk to yourself? I don't call myself stupid. I don't call myself anything less. I am amazing. I am powerful. I am wonderful. I am capable. I am everything that I want to be. And if people say that I am not,
Doesn't
then
matter.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. I am special. I am only.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Actually, at first I didn't. Now I do. So when you say people, you know who you are, most women are not going to know who they are because we're suppressed for so long. You forget.
What made you find that power to know who you are and to be so confident in that?
I started meditating a lot, researching and putting myself in uncomfortable situations. And I remember I spent a whole year a whole year asking myself if I did anything. I was like, do I really like that drink, or do I just like it because other people told me it was good? I'd be like, do I really like red, or do I just like it because other people told me? And then I realized that I hated pink because of other people, and now I love pink.
Okay, I was about to say, dang, her poster, we had pink in there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like these things. Oh no, you're not a girly girl, so you shouldn't like pink. Or sometimes like someone's coming and telling me that something looks weird. I can be here wearing one earring, and I love it. This is me. Yeah. I have dreads now. Yeah. I got that for me, not for anyone else. Yes, and I think so too. But it's kind of like when you decide to make these changes that are for you, that you feel like you need to make within you, you can't help sometimes but thinking of what other people are going to think, right? But then if you come from a place, if you're trying to truly be empowered to say, look, I am the protagonist of my story. Without me, there is no story. Wow. If I am unhappy in my life, it is my fault. I'm letting people run my story.
Wow. I love that.
And I think that's like, a big problem in society is that they really care about what other people think about them, bro.
Yeah.
They like stop doing something. They stop believing in their own dreams, their own goals, because someone has a different opinion than they do.
Yeah, but think about it, the box that we're meant to fit in right now. Let's talk about women real quick, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies. I'm so sorry.
No, like you said, we got to be straight to the point, straightforward.
Everybody looks the same. Everybody has the same nose. Everybody has the same lips. Everybody wears the same makeup. I'm here with you, and I'm wearing makeup today because I decided I wanted to, because sometimes women, they like, I like to be pretty. I like to be a woman, but I don't like to be made up 24/7, right? But then what happens is, if you're Brazilian especially, in Brazil, they get dressed up to go to like, buy bread.
Sex appeal in Brazil is like, I remember growing up, like my mom would be like, "Oh, we're going to the doctors. Remember, you got to shower or dress up." It's like, we're going to the doctors. Why do I gotta look good to go to the doctors?
Yeah, it's a different thing. But then it's kind of like, it's the way they dress, and it's also me as a woman. I'm saying this being a woman. The way I got my self-love and self-satisfaction was through a lens that was very bad for me, because I was I didn't get very much attention. I didn't feel very loved. And when I hit puberty, I got a lot of attention because I had a lot of body.
So it was like a boom. It was like
overnight.
180.
Suddenly I was the scrawny kid, and then I was the person everybody was paying attention to, but it was purely just physical. Exactly. So then you get, you start getting thrown into, what other people think you are, how other people think you are. Because people don't mind giving you their opinion, even if it's going to hurt you, because like I said, sometimes people, they're not doing so good in their own head. So they're like, oh, I'm going to throw some fire in them so they can burn with me because it'll make me feel better that way. Yeah. There are a lot of vindictive people, and sometimes it's not because they're bad people. It's just that's the way that they get satisfaction.
It's going back to the thing you're talking about, like giving their light. It's like some people are dark and they're trying to
drain you.
They're spreading that darkness, and you can't let that happen.
They drain you. Some people, they drain you. So that's something else as well. It's like, who do you hang out with? How do people see you? Are people's view of you one that is supportive of you? Because I'm not around people who are not supportive of me.
Oh, we've been talking about that every episode. We've touched on that. Like, you are who you hang out with, and at the end of the day, like, you have the right people around you, you're gonna go to the right place.
You're right, and you're exactly right. And we're meant, this is how the world is. We're meant to come together, right, for the better, for knowledge. And when we do this, it's like the natural magnetism of life just happens, and things flow for the positive, right?
With this subject of like truly not really caring about what other people think, we actually, with that chat box that I put this week, and the question was, what does being an empowered woman mean to you? And we actually had Carolina Lima, again, always here with us, works at Tiffany. Awesome. If you guys need any rings, any jewelry, go to Tiffany. She's there to hook you up. Anyways, guys, she wrote, being confident, working hard on what I love, but making sure I prioritize being confident, working hard for what I love, but making sure I prioritize the things and people that make me feel happy and feel alive. So it's not just the people that, again, put you down, but also the people who put you up.
No, what she's saying in that is she's talking about knowing who to give her energy to. So she's talking about focusing on the people that are giving her good energy back and giving her that light, and not focusing on those people that are giving her that dark energy.
It's about the positivity.
Yeah, so she's saying that's what, because we asked them what makes them more of an empowered woman. So she's saying what she needs to do to make her more empowered woman is focus on the good instead of the negative.
Agreed. But I think that having a clear dose of the negative is also important
For
because
sure.
it's like we need to know both sides of us. I'm not going to sit here and
There's
tell
no
you,
good without evil.
ooh, I'm this being of light who doesn't do any stupid shit. That's a lie. I do stupid shit all
I
the
honestly
time.
feed off that shit too.
Of what?
Off the negativity. Like,
Oh, that's because you're like a conduct. People are like, woo, rage. She's like, rage. Yeah, we know.
but like,
Like a lightning rod.
Even like in this
So true.
man, it's the way I am.
Eric, we love you, man.
It's
know-
perfect. It's perfect.
We love you for who you
but
are.
even like in this podcast, like we always tell people like, yo, tell us if we're doing something wrong. Tell us if if you don't like something, because like me, I feed off of it so I can make something positive out of it.
Okay, transmutation. That's important. Alchemy or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that it's important. But like I said, sometimes I feel like we forget about us and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, you literally can't. If your cup is empty, and you're like, no, I do everything. I control everything. I'm able to be at all places at once. I know everything that's going on. And then you're like, hey, what do you do for you?
And you're like, huh?
What do you do for you?
What I do for myself, I've been trying to just be more self-conscious about where I am, not in the good, but in the bad. Just really realizing what I have to improve in my life and truly admitting to it and really every day beating myself over it, but not to put myself in a dark place, but to put myself into what you're saying, the state of recognition where I know I'm not where I want to be and life gets hard, but it's okay. Like I'm not a failure because I'm going through a tough time.
So, but what do you do for you as in time-wise? What time do you give yourself?
That's something I definitely have to improve. I don't.
I know.
It's just a rush. Work.
I work. I mean,
Which is why I presented the question,
that
because
was
most
dope.
people
Yeah.
don't. They don't even see it until
That was
they're
dope.
asked.
Wow.
No one sees it. You're like, what do you do for you? What do you do for you? So,
I mean, chat, go in right now. The same question goes to all you guys too. I mean, what do you do for yourself? Write it down right now in the chat. I want to hear that.
I mean, I feel like I do a lot for myself.
I feel like you do because you're like, you wake up a little early, but I'm saying it's like
Deeper than
growth and being with yourself is solitude. And if you can't be with yourself in solitude, then you can't.
If you can't love yourself, you can't
Oh,
love anyone
definitely,
else.
of course. That's why, like, I got kind of like, I'm not gonna say I got used to it, but I got kind of like comfortable being alone.
That's good.
You know what I mean? I got comfortable working on my body. I got comfortable being healthy.
I'm proud of you for that.
Because like I knew that these things would put me in the right state of mind.
No, they're important. And it's also kind of like that thing, I always try to tell my students, I was like, you can get what you want now. Instant gratification. Bah, this feels good now. But then what you want most gets really far away because you got what you want now, right? You got what you want now. What you want now is great, but what you want most.
So is it kind of like, it's kind of like I'm proud but never satisfied or something like that?
No, it's discipline is your best friend.
Definitely.
And it's important for you to do something consistently over and over so you get back there. My goal is 80 years old, right? I want to be able to roll. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to play capoeira at 80s. And I think I can totally do it in
for
great
sure.
fashion.
I relate to that 100%.
That's what I'm saying, because 80 is an age where most of our elders are starting to deteriorate. A lot of
give
them
up.
can't go to the bathroom by themselves. They can't sit. They can't stand. Imagine yourself in that
You start
situation.
to give up as a human.
You do, because you lost your independence. I fight for my independence, my physical independence, my well-being inside. I think that right now, I mean, we all go through phases. So I did go through my phase where I wanted to party, see what things were like. But I also understand as an athlete that if I don't keep this continuous, I wouldn't be where I am now, right? Because growth, it's like, you're like, oh, no, that's enough. But then, when I look at pictures of me or videos of me or things of me a year ago, I was like, wow, I came so far. That's so dope.
Yeah.
So like speaking of that, like, and going back to like you saying about discipline and keeping yourself on track, like what are some like challenges or hurdles you went through to kind of get to this point to like where you being a woman in a male dominated field and just like having to go through all those challenges for you to be this woman you are today?
People told me I couldn't many times. Men don't believe in my power very often. I'm underestimated.
Guys, I've seen that
so much
live.
that I smile.
Oh my God, dude, I think it's amazing. You don't know how many times a man is butthurt when Carol just taps them out.
Or it just shows them that, just because you think you're the man, dude, it ain't like that. There's levels.
No, but it's just like, it shows you that, like, they, I don't even know really how to explain it. Can you explain it a little bit better than I can?
I am here to break down people's realities. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that from an ego perspective.
No, of course not.
I'm saying that for perspective, from experience, and people aren't used to someone who's so comfortable with, it's okay, I train. That's it. That's my superpower. It's not that I'm better than anyone. It's I am consistent.
Going back to the discipline.
I've been saying this phrase all week, and I've been saying it throughout the lives too. Again, motivation gets you started. Consistency keeps you going.
Most definitely. And that is perfection. And that is what it is. It's consistency. When you're thinking about being a better human, when you're thinking about getting the most out of your body, out of your mind, and you're thinking about a way of life. It's a way of life. It's the way you wake up. It's the way you go to sleep. So how do you wake up? What's your first thought when you open your eyes? How do you sleep? Are you grateful for your body and for the things that it does for you? I mean, so many people, they have bodies that literally don't listen to them. And right now, because of society, of how we live sitting all the time. Even, us that are here, which are healthy people that move fairly well, we can get stuck in a chair all day long and have a tight hip flexor. And then you're like, oh, my hip flexor is fine. But then you're like, oh, that's actually an emotional base for the body. That's where your psoas is.
And especially in this technology-based world we live in now in the 21st century, everyone's always sitting behind a computer. Like, everything is done behind a computer. No one's moving as much as they should be anymore.
And then you go there and you're like, oh, okay, I'm a woman and I want to be empowered. But then people are like, this is the latest trend. This is how your waist should look. This is how you should dress. This is, that body, because my body is different. My body is different. It is different.
But you're also a lifetime athlete. So, like, it's a lot of the times, I bet you like you're going back to what you're saying, that people compare themselves to you a lot. And it's like, guys, I've gone through a lot too.
Yeah, but I go through the other thing too. I go through the other thing where men are like, oh, that's too much for me. And I'm like, I didn't ask for your opinion.
So, Carol, I mean, especially for all the women out there watching us that have that trouble right there that you just spoke about, of maybe sometimes putting themselves in a mindset where they're not comfortable with their body, even whatever it is, if it's weight, if it's look, if it's their nose, if it's their mouth, if it's their forehead, whatever the hell it is. What do you say to that?
I went through that. I looked in the mirror every day and I told myself I loved me until I believed it. I hated it every day. I did not believe myself for a very long time.
So you physically stood in the mirror and you were talking.
I stood in the mirror and I talked to myself every morning. I had my accountability mirror every morning, and I talked to myself. And I didn't believe it at first. And then I started removing this language from my life. This language of, oh, I'm so ugly. Ai, eu sou tão, like, women, they do that a lot. Like, I don't look right. Like, my nose is too big. Oh, my mouth. I haven't done any surgeries. But I don't have anything against people who do it. I think everyone has their own choice.
For sure.
But I think it's sad.
I agree.
That's something that's created in such perfection, however it's supposed to look, that you feel the need of it looking different.
The vanity.
Yeah, but it's not even the vanity, man. Maybe your nose was made that way because nobody is ugly, man. You're just like geographically misplaced.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because when I went to the Emirates, a unibrow was beautiful. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, they're like doing henna to have a unibrow.
Wow.
Because it's a sense of beauty. So that's what I'm saying. It's like when you start taking away that language, when you start like, I remember even the way I walked, I'd be walking already, pay attention. So I would catch myself afterwards and kind of like relax my walk and be like, I don't need this.
So it's like cultural norms in certain places makes it like that. Like being from like the Western world, and especially here in the United States, vanity is a very, very big thing. That's why it's like, and you said a lot of, not to shoot down women because there are very different women, but like you said, a lot of them are looking the same nowadays because you're copying this one image of what you think is perfection.
Like a Kardashian look or something.
Exactly. With like the round lips, right? Everybody's getting the same. And then you're like, wow, everybody has such unique beauty, unique features. I have friends that they're like, I'm so ugly. I was like, where? Wow. Because to me, everybody is unique. So I think that if you're a woman and you're going through that truly, and you feel like you're not enough, okay, I think that you need to clear your thoughts and understand that there is no such place. There is no such place. That's non-existent. That is a figment of your imagination, that you're in a place where you can't appreciate yourself, where you're not enough. That is a lie. imposed by, you know, thoughts and experiences. But once you stand in your power for real, and you start slowly letting go, and you start looking at yourself in the mirror, and then you will start telling yourself that you love yourself really, you know, and maybe sometimes you might break down and cry because you realize that you don't love yourself as much as you think you should, or as you should, right? But then that's the beginning. Do you love yourself enough to make a change in your life to love yourself more? You know, because if you're there just standing, oh, I want to go to the gym to lose weight, right? I'm in martial arts. I'm in fitness, right? I have my company and this is what I do. And one of the main reasons people come to me and they're like, oh, I just want to lose weight. I was like, then I don't deal with you.
Wow.
Because I'm not
You're more
here.
than just that.
I'm not here to.
You're focusing on the mental, the physical, everything.
Yeah, so I actually just redesigned. We were talking about that the other day. So I just redesigned my whole method into the principles of neuroplasticity, right? So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show people through empowering themselves. Because when you do something difficult successfully, you feel more empowered right away. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. You're like, oh, I couldn't do this. And then you do it. Doesn't matter. Successfully, you're empowered right away. So you go there and you empower yourself little by little, understanding that there's always the other law where you're going to have, you know, crappy days and you're going to feel like, you know, you did nothing successful. But everything is towards the greater purpose. It's just consistency.
Even if it's like one step a day, it's just you're still going for that.
So it's like telling yourself you love yourself, having conversations and understanding you're not putting yourself in that place of judgment, understanding that other people's opinions, they do not define the human that you are. Everyone's going to have their own opinions and everyone sees life through a filter that's completely unique. You don't know their experiences. So maybe I'm here, like he said, him and I, sometimes we have some beef when it happens, but you know what? I'm very conscious that he's an amazing human, but I'm not conscious of what he's going through in his life at that moment. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm also not very conscious of the place that I am in within myself when I decide to entertain this kind of conversation with him, this kind of energy, which is from us because we're so primal, right? It happens, and sometimes it needs to happen for things to resolve, but it's not necessary, right? I can choose to be like, you know what, man, my happiness is better right now. Calm down.
I love that. Yeah,
you know. Sure. And I think for women it's more about like understanding that we have this body that's completely unique, completely amazing. It builds life. It makes life. No one gets
Which
here.
is the most beautiful thing ever.
Oh my God, it is. And no one gets here in any other way than being transported by the womb of a woman. You know what I mean? And that it's okay to be an emotional. That's not very okay in our environment and culture. It's okay to be emotional, you know? And I think that cleaning up from social media, from the internet, is one of the best things a woman can do sometimes if she's not in a mindset where she can take that information, understand that it's not to her. If you can't get out of social media, change the things you expose yourself to.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're in my social media,
change what you listen to.
Yeah, only put stuff in that matters. Are they positive things that are going to fill your cup? It's like cooking, you know what I mean? If you put one bad spice in there, it can mess up the whole
recipe. Yeah.
But going back to what you said, like what you listen to, I feel like a lot of the culture nowadays too is like all about like
I can't stand trap music.
Pussy pop my this
I can't.
and like yo,
trap music kills me. Man.
So it's like it's such a this like going back to like the energy thing. Like what you listen to does affect you.
It does.
So and like whether you like it or not, it's going to be in your subconscious, and like you're thinking about it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a bad bitch. It's okay. And so it brings you to this state of like you emulate that, and it's like you don't have to be like that. Like believe in yourself. You don't need this kind of energy to make you think that it's gonna make you better.
Dude, that's crazy because I was about to ask you this. So of course we're talking about the episode about women empowerment, how special women are, but of course we have a male audience here too.
Yeah.
Okay. And my question to you is this: social media nowadays preaches a big thing where men ain't shit. Men are this, men are fucked up, men is this, and blah, blah, blah. I'm a bad bitch and I don't need men in my life. I mean, what's your point of view on that? And really, how can we, like, how do you even protect your son from something like this? How do you protect your family and your daughter and like from that mindset of just seeing social media, saying men ain't shit? Because I don't believe that. I mean, there's good and bad in every aspect. What's your point of view?
I think that we all need each other. There's no such a thing. I'm a woman. Yes, I don't need a man to make me happy inside because my happiness needs to come from within me for me.
Preach.
However, my husband balances me out so much, right? I think right now is not a time for us to be like, oh, you know, that's what they say. Hey, boss bitch, I don't need a man. It's not. Right now is a time for you to, yes, be a boss. understand how to be supported by someone who's powerful with a man. Understand how to be supported. And I think it's just time for the men to understand how to support the women more. But also, I think the men, they go through a lot. Because again, I have a son. They go through a lot, especially the toxic masculinity aspect, right? Men can't be sensitive. Men can't cry. Men can't show emotion. But that's like the
mental
most
health.
Beautiful thing. Yes, it is mental health. It's being a full expression of ourselves. And I think right now, it's not like, I don't come here saying, oh, women empower. No, I'm a feminist, which means I look for equality. I look for equality.
The true definition of feminism that has changed a lot in these past couple of years because it's being drowned out by all this bullshit in the news and propaganda.
Yeah, agreed. So all I'm looking for is equality. So right now I do my work. I'm trying to raise consciousness to have, female leaders. But what I'm trying to do is get my brothers and us to find middle ground so we can work together, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm all about women when most of my training partners are men. Most of the mats I've been to are men.
Yeah.
Most of my brothers, men who listen to me, men who have helped me, men who have given me new ways of thinking, who have supported me. I cannot be like, oh, all women. No. It is time for balance.
Let's go.
Yeah, it is. It is time for balance. It's time for us to simply let go of the old thinking that men are better than women, because then they went to the other extreme. Women are better than men. And you're like, yo.
It's always the extremes. It's like, boom, 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 boom.
Like, why does one have to be better than the other?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For real.
So the word I like to use is integration.
Wow. That's awesome.
Integration.
And it's going back to, like, I heard this the other day on a podcast I was listening to, and they brought up, like, the whole women-man dynamic is people would say, like, oh, when you're in a relationship, it's 50-50. And then, but then they said something that I really, like, caught me. It's like, it's not 50-50. It's 100-100.
Yes.
Because you're both giving fully of yourselves to come together into wherever you drop off is where the other person is going to pick up.
No, and there's a lot of things. I also have to be in my feminine. I didn't want to be a housewife, cook and clean. That wasn't what I thought. At first I was like, that's not what I want to do. But you know what? Nowadays, I have such joy in doing these things because I am preparing a meal with love for my family, for my husband who is supporting me doing this work and going to these places, because I'm a traveling martial artist. Yeah. So like, I'm always here and there, and he supports me. Yeah. So when I know that some things in the house, it's better that he does it because he knows how to do that better. And some things it's my thing because I know how to do it better. But it makes me very happy to be the mother, the caretaker. And I believe in him enough to follow his authority, not because I must.
I love that.
Caralho. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, I feel like people, they like see that as like an obligation. It's not an obligation. It's like you said, you're showing your love. You created that meal to bring your family together. It's for everybody sitting at the table. You're spreading, telling your stories. You're connecting with each other, and you're all coming together in this place where there's no gender tradition, like how like people have like gender norms, like, oh, a man does this, a woman does this. No, we're here to do what we got to do. Like you said, where I can't do something, my husband does it, and we're completely fine with that because it works and everything is in tune.
Yeah, there's a big balance.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
For sure.
It does, and that is what it is. And then I disagree. I think there are stories that are built around the fact that us women must do things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because the narrative, when you're looking at it from my side, looks different.
For sure.
You might not be someone following that narrative. You might not. But my grandfather was someone following that narrative when he was with my grandmother. She had a very difficult life, right? And in the Emirates, that is the narrative. The woman must do this and the man does this.
And it's even more extreme. Like,
that's
there
what
it's
I'm
like,
saying.
But it's where evolution comes in, and it's just mentalities of growth of generations just evolving and just becoming better within their own mindset of what we have to live.
Us doing this right here is the first step.
And also I feel like women like you help other women realize that as well.
Yeah, so here's a big thing about me too as a woman. I'm not a victim. I'm never a victim.
Yes, Caro, thank you. Oh my God.
I'm not a victim. Not some guy came to me, no, I'm not a victim. I'm not. I'm not.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning like that sometimes women like to blame their experiences on a man. Be like, he made me do it. Unless he put hands on you or physically made you do it, he didn't make you do it. Right? When people get together, sometimes it's because something happened. The chemistry happened. Something happened. Or when a guy was But sometimes as a woman, we let ourselves be put in that narrative by accident. By accident, you're putting yourself in a narrative where he's the boss and I must listen. It's like, why? Why can't
not
we
talk?
just
Communication.
But that's what I'm
Communication,
saying. People don't like to talk and communicate. If you sit down nowadays, and I'm telling you this fully knowing, if you sit down and you talk to people, even in the get-go, I'm here talking to you guys, and I'm looking into your eyes. This is something I'm used to. I'm a good communicator, and I'm someone who will look into someone's soul when
Me
I'm
too.
talking to them.
I like people to
And
look at my
and it
eyes.
says a lot.
But
Respect.
for the most part, how many people don't do that?
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with phones around.
Many people can't
They're just
hold
kinda-
eye
they're kinda
contact.
like-
They look around. They don't have an honest conversation. And then because they don't do it often, when you decide to have a conversation, it comes from a reactive defensive point. You're defending your honor, your emotions,
You're putting your guards up.
Yes, but then you forget to see the other view. There's always like
That's
one-
why we did this setup too, right? Because it's a more open thing. Like we don't have like a table blocking
Or
us
facing each
You know
other,
what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like I think this is and we want to make it comfortable. We want to make it feel like it's home. You know?
We have actually a chat here that very important, especially just talking about the other side of the picture, right? Men, right? And just talking about, especially throughout your whole journey of going through multiple men who helped you grow and helped you realize and taught you so much and brought you so much values into your life, right? I mean, he's asking here, ask her about sensitivity in men. Throughout that journey, did you notice that men also have a sensitive side to them? And how okay is that?
Yes. So I think it's becoming more and more normal. And the men that I know who are masters and the people who I admire, because I don't admire just anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not like a fangirl. I admire people that are like, wow, that's a good human. And those men that have become comfortable with themselves, within, they're all sensitive. They're all sensitive. They understand their wife's cycles. They see something sad and they want to cry. They laugh when they see the children smiling. They don't care about expressing themselves.
I'm very emotional. Yeah, I'm very open about it.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming from martial arts, and martial arts, we're not supposed to show emotion, right? For the most part, we're really not supposed to show emotion, actually. Because when you show emotions,
Mindset.
It's like you're
not
losing.
just that. Well, if I can smell blood, I'm gonna go on top of it. I'm like, oh, there was
Or like
there
if you
was
can sense
fear
fear,
right there. That's
yeah.
where it's at, because we're taught how to do that. It's not a figment of my imagination or their imagination. We're taught how to read energy. We're so close. We're fighting, right? And when you feel that little sense of fear, you're like, oh, okay, they just lost.
Yep.
Because the mentality,
games.
the mentality goes away.
Which
So
is big.
it is.
So you definitely saw different episodes of men just being sensitive around you, and it was beautiful.
Yes, but they're all like afraid. I've had men open up to me a lot too, because I'm someone who, I don't care. If your business is your business, and if you want to let me know because you need to get stuff out of your chest, that's fine. Let me know your business. I'm not gonna judge you.
I think that's important because I hold my emotions a lot, but I let it go to certain people that I trust.
Exactly. And it is important for you to have these people. And that's something that men forgot how to do over time. It's like, I can't talk. Men will talk about the problems. And you're like, why?
And I can vouch for Eric on that because he has come a long fucking way with that. Like, if I'm gonna say it, bro, like, so me and him, dude, the amount of times me and Eric have had these conversations where like we're just talking for hours and hours and just getting deep into it. And he always thanks me. He's like, Dad, I'm so glad I can do this with you, man. And I always tell him, yo, you don't gotta thank me, bro. Like, we should be able to do this without like kind of like
Feeling uncomfortable.
Feeling uncomfortable.
But
Like
the
we need
truth
those.
is the space is not there. It's starting to open up. I have a lot of friends who run like, men's circles. And I just started hearing that language. I was like, wow, there's men's circles. It's so dope. And he just teaches people how to understand how to be comfortable with themselves. And with the whole thing that we were going on back and forth from Abu Dhabi, I was pregnant and with my husband. My husband is nordestino, cabra macho.
Going back to those traditional values.
I don't cry. And when we met, it was like, you should respect me. And I'd be like, go get a nun. It was bad.
You had to crack that shell.
No, he's still kind of like, he calls me like, he says I'm a wild horse and someday he's going to tame me.
That's awesome. But that's
I can imagine if I could say
That's what makes your guys' relationship what it is, though. Like, that's what makes you guys like work,
But it does because I'm intense. That's how people describe me, as intense. And he's calm, but he can also be intense. And I remember us going back and forth. It was very emotional because I almost didn't want to travel there because I was already thinking about the goodbye. And the goodbye sucked.
Yeah.
The goodbye was like having my heart torn out every time.
Oh man.
Like through my throat and then stuck back in and ripped out again a bunch of times over.
But like at the end of the day, it's like it kind of brought you guys even closer together.
It
right?
did, but that's what I'm saying. That's when he kind of let go. He
Yeah.
didn't used to cry, in front of anyone. And then he's like, I tried to hold it back, but now it's kind of like.
It's because this stigma of men, like, not necessarily, like, yeah, like, you don't necessarily always have to cry, but don't be afraid to, like, express yourself. Like, you don't got to bottle stuff in, guys. Like, this is a quick message to men real quick. Just, guys, talk to somebody. Like, going back to what, in the last episode where we talked about, like, depression and talking to somebody, you don't always got to go to, like, professional help or anything, but find someone that you can rely on and just really speak your mind and not be judged for how you're feeling, because we need that. A lot of men get to that point where they delete themselves, and it's not a good thing. So we got to make sure that you find someone that you can express that to.
Thomas actually says that it's a weakness that we have in men.
Yeah, so check this out. Just an FYI, if you are uncomfortable to go to someone and talk to someone, okay, journaling can do wonders, because it quiets the mind for people who can't quiet. It can do wonders. You can sit and you can journal your emotions. And then by the time you're journaling all of that, you realize that, like, the power is gone. Like, if you felt it subside. Yeah. But I think that's definitely something that's, I don't know why culturally it went away.
Yeah.
Right? The male to male support.
Hey, I could tell you why. These guys right here, these little square blocks.
You think so?
I think so. Because think about it. I think people look at it as an escape. So, like, if you think about it, like, when you're kind of feeling down or whatever, you're going to go on YouTube and at least how I've kind of seen it sometimes, just because even me putting it myself, I'm like, I'll go on Google and be like, oh, how to get over this, or how to do this, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being real for a second.
Emotional for dummies.
Yeah, it's straight up. Like, literally, like, it's like, yo, how do I express myself without looking like a little bitch? Like,
Bro.
We gotta beat that beat.
So no, that happened to my son. My son had a wrestling tournament. It was really hard, right? He was his first year of wrestling, and then he was doing JV and varsity, and it was very hard emotionally, And he's like, people tell me I have to be tough, and I gave him space for him to be emotional.
Unpack that, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, man, come over here. You can unpack it. I'll just hold you down, and it was such a wonderful moment for me to be able to hold that space for him, and a wonderful moment of growth for him to understand that that's okay, and I'm not judging him.
And you're teaching him that since he's a child.
Yes.
and it's awesome that you brought that up, because going back to wrestling, because I also wrestled throughout high school, and I love that Jalen's doing that. But whenever I would lose, like, big matches, I would shake my opponent's hand and I would run behind the bleachers and literally, like, just
My man.
bawl my eyes out, because I was
Brazilian jiu-jitsu
so
competitor.
disappointed. I'm just like beating myself. I'm like, what? And I'm just behind there and I'm hiding because I don't want nobody to see me like
Dude,
that.
look. I missed weigh-ins at the Worlds.
No way.
I missed weigh-in.
Could you
at
explain that? I mean, what does that mean? Like, miss weigh-ins.
the Worlds tournament is the biggest jiu-jitsu tournament in the world. I had sponsorship and I did a tour around the States.
Oh man, so you were ready.
Yeah, so I went to I was training with Mackenzie Dern, who's like the one of the
No
most famous.
way.
Yes, I went to train with
That's
Mackenzie
my
Dern with
UFC crush.
Megaton. Yeah, with Megaton, her dad. I trained there for a while. I had bruises on my cheek because he was.
Tough.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing. When I remember the bruises on my cheeks, I was like, whoa. And he's like, I like you. You're tough. I was like,
Thanks, it hurts.
Oh my God. She wasn't ready.
no, that's the thing. It's like, for me, like I said, I believe in my capabilities so much that I don't mind going under the struggle, but I remember the bruise on my face. So I went to Gustavo Dantas, another really famous gym. I was like ready. And then I got to the tournament and I saw the girls, and I had just seen them like a couple of weeks prior in New York. I was like, this time is mine. She beat me by like an advantage last time. This time is mine. And then I drank my pre-workout before stepping on the scale.
Oh man.
And I was 0.2 pounds.
No.
0.2?
Pounds. Not kilos, pounds.
Which is even less, guys.
And then I
That
was
is insane.
disqualified.
Oh my.
And then I went through turmoil. Everybody was there. I had to face everyone afterwards, even though I was crying. And obviously, not everyone has the best language for someone who did that.
Yeah.
So I had to hear a lot of, I can't believe you did that. You missed weight. How crappy of you. Because that's how people are.
Even
They're mean.
even in UFC today, if they lose weight, everyone just
Talk shit,
rashes
yeah.
on them.
Yeah, but that's different. That's the UFC.
Yeah.
We're talking about like a jiu-jitsu tournament.
No,
The
I know,
UFC,
but that's worlds though.
Yeah. You're right.
You know?
But UFC, you're on a public.
But I'm saying the UFC versus the world.
Yeah.
But it's the
I mean,
UFC.
yeah, but
But anyways, it was kind of like I had to anyways be prepared to take that. So I went behind the bleachers, cried like crazy, came back. I was like, my face is probably swollen, but whatever. I came back and I watched a couple of the fights and I learned a lot. And then that day, it's so interesting because life, it always gives you a great gift with so much turmoil. Let's just pack that together, make a braid and give it to her. So I was like, and then I got my message that I got an interview to go to Abu Dhabi.
Ooh.
Hand in hand. Missed waiting at the Worlds, checked my junk mail at the Worlds and had my proposal
it was
for
in the
Abu
junk
Dhabi.
mail too.
It was in the junk mail. Vaca called me during the tournament.
Like,
He's
did you
like,
see that?
did you see your junk mail? Check your junk mail. And then I remember that within 2 weeks, remember, it was so fast. 2 weeks, I did my interview and I was gone.
Whoa.
It was that fast.
Wow. You just have to be ready for it. Just go.
It was so fast. It was a Skype interview and then I was gone. It was so fast.
So I actually want to touch upon that. Just all these accomplishments you've done, and can you just kind of like give us some of your like your certificates, your accomplishments? Like you said, you're a 2nd degree black belt under your husband, and just give us some of your things you're doing. You're certified in, and everything that you've accomplished. Some of the goals you've hit already. That just shows all the whole journey you've been through.
Okay, so I'm a 2nd degree black belt under my husband, Alexandre Vaca Moreno, who's originally, we're at Team Link now, so I'm one of the head coaches at Team Link. My husband's the head coach there. I'm also a capoeira teacher, professora. I've been in capoeira for quite some time, and an advocate for the women in the environment. So I travel often, and I clearly advocate that I'm helping women
And
grow.
you were a very big part of my capoeira journey when I was younger, and yeah, you taught me a lot with that, so I can vouch for that.
Thank you. I'm also certified physio trainer. Physio training is basically like physical therapy and personal trainer. So we have a more holistic approach to injury and prevention. I also am a Viking
vouch for
Ninja. Yeah, I'm a Viking Ninja representative or a tactical fitness, right?
Andre was actually telling us that he actually bought that.
I
Because of
told
you.
him.
Yeah, so I love it. So I specialize. Well, I have my own company, right? And I specialize in old practices. So the name of this is my company actually.
Rooted
Sure.
Strength Method, guys. Search her up on Instagram. Morena Rooted Strength Method. There's her
Yeah.
page on Instagram, and there's her separate Instagram as well.
I really like that name.
Thank you. So Rooted Strength, and the tree has a whole thing. So I started this company because I wanted to bring this old practices together, which is breath. The steel mace is like more than 2,000 years old.
Wow.
Really?
The kettlebells are over 750 years old.
That's crazy.
These are old practices that are breath oriented as well as proper movement, because I'm trying to get people out of that autopilot, right? So my logo is a tree because I believe that we have seasons to training. Right. So I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, we do, man. I can't be training like I'm going to the Worlds 24/7. My body can't take it. Literally, it cannot take it.
Yeah.
And as we get older, the muscles change. So we need to understand the kind of things that we're doing to our body. And I like a tree because a tree can be blown by the wind. It's flexible, right?
The leaves fall, they come back.
Yes, there's so much transformation that happens. It can bend, but it won't break. And then the roots are actually it's a uterus.
I was gonna say,
Oh, wow.
that's dope,
Yeah,
dude.
and lungs because of breath. So
I
it's
was
a
about to say,
uterus and lungs.
I see some lungs in
That's
there.
I
sick.
know.
That's
So
sick.
I love that.
I started, I got my kettlebell cert online, right, during the pandemic. And then after that, I started getting into kettlebells more because I wanted to lift. And then the pandemic happened and I had no childcare. It's like, how am I going to lift with my child? I can't. So
Not
we
being able to
had,
go to the gym and stuff.
I
yeah.
couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't go anywhere. I,
mean,
couldn't train.
You were still killing it though with the exercises while you were pregnant.
Yeah, I was. I was exercising a lot. I played capoeira a lot. I have a head spin at 35 weeks pregnant.
No, sir. I gotta see that. I gotta
You know
see
why
that.
though? Because my baby, she flipped.
Did you catch it on video?
Yeah, I think I have it. I'll
What?
try to share it with you later. So
So you were like trying to get her back.
no, she went upside down, right? She was in the wrong position. No, it was at 33 weeks. She was in the wrong position. She twisted. And then the doctor was worse. Like, she twisted. But in the womb, they have perception of what's up and what's down.
Yeah.
So I was reading tons of stuff. They're like, just do a handstand. I was like, a handstand's hard because I'm heavy now. But I'm really good at headstands. So I held a headstand for a minute. And then I did a spin
That's so
at the end because, used to it. But then I
Little
felt
flare.
her moving back.
Whoa.
And then when I went to the doctor the next day, she had moved back. I was like, yeah.
That's sick,
bro.
But guys, that goes to show too, like if I know a lot of women are kind of like self-conscious about going to the gym, you can do it at home. Follow Caro, let her show you how you can do it. She,
I remember,
on the daily basis from morning to night, she shows her process, guys, and it's super, super dope to see because she breaks it down so well. She explains everything that she's doing. She puts meaning behind everything she's doing. She's not just doing it to do it. She gives the advice that you need to hear to make sure that you know what you're doing and everything behind it. So
and that low-key creates a super baby.
Oh yeah,
man, Ayana's a super baby.
Literally. No, she is. So right now, it's been really interesting because at first I was like generalized women, but right now my whole public is martial arts.
Yeah.
So I started being an advocate for martial arts, period, and I've been on a couple of podcasts and a couple of different places as well because I think the martial artist neglects their body a lot. So when I started doing, I did the steel mace, which is core breath oriented, the kettlebells, core breath oriented. And then I started going through the TAC Fit systems and then my capoeira knowledge. And then the breath knowledge that I had gathered. And I'm continuously reading. I read like 3 books at the same time. I'm always reading something. I'm always learning about the brain, and I'm always trying to prove spirituality and science into one because it really is.
They go together.
Yes, they do.
We
have to be spiritual. We have to be spiritual. We have to have that kind of practice so we can be in tune, right? And then nowadays we're coming to a place where like a point in time that science proves electromagnetic fields. It proves meditation. It proves the difference that it can change, that it can do in you. And I worked for pharmaceuticals. And then I was like, wow, this mindfulness thing can literally change lives. And I became the person I am now because I followed this path of, mindfulness and breath and training and paying attention to the simple things, being in the here and now. And I'm so free. I'm so free. It feels so good that I want other people to feel that good too. Like it just bothers me when I see people trapped. You can see them by the lack of eye contact, by the discomfort, by you're like, wow, this person really is hurting right now, And I always try to give people positive conversations or interactions, even if they don't work with me. That's why I give so much information on my page. Because it's kind of like, maybe you're not going to work with me, but maybe you're going to train a little bit of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not going to work with me, but maybe I'll teach you something that you're going to use all the time. Like Eric came up to me telling me that he uses I fixed his shoulder once and now he uses it all the time.
Yeah. So when I just started in the gym like last year, when I was fully committed, and I was pumping iron, I was feeling like a savage. And then, I wasn't really focusing on my techniques. On how I was doing the workout. I just wanted to get the weight and I wanted to feel strong. And then I kind of like popped my muscle shoulder. I don't even know. And I was like, dude, I don't even know what to do. I can't even work out. I feel it at every workout. I'm like, yo, Caro, I need your help. Man, it was painful what she did to me. But let me tell you something. It was so worth it. And everything she taught me, to like, if it happens again,
you can do it yourself.
I can do it myself. But even though I still, I made it like a routine to put it in my routine so that it never happens again.
Dope.
Man, it was awesome.
But that's what I'm saying. It goes back to that same thing. It's integration. If you're a human and you're not integrated with your organic machine, then you don't know what's going on. Then maybe, because for me, it's posture over power.
Yeah.
If my body is well connected, like you guys have all trained something, right? So about body engagement. Like you have a body that can be engaged to take a hit, and you can have a body that can be engaged to take a fall.
Yeah.
It's different,
And especially connecting that to jiu-jitsu, like the whole reason jiu-jitsu was even created is for positioning and movement and certain things. That it's not about power.
Leverage over power.
Exactly. It's made for the little guy to overpower the big guy. You know what I mean? It's not obviously not just that, but it's,
no, there's tons. I'm not going to tell you here that me being physically strong and capable doesn't help me out all the time.
Sure.
Of course it does. But if I'm going with someone bigger, I'm so good at my chess game. I'm like,
it's a chess game.
It is. It's human chess. You're like, move number 1. It's your grip. It's your grip. You let me grip somewhere. It's 1,000 possibilities. Yeah. It's a lie. And that's why when you see black belts fighting, all you see them is fighting for grips because one grip really matters.
And it's like slowly etching in. It's not just like, you're like doing all this shit. You're just like,
that's the thing. It depends. But then you have... That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No,
man.
you're good.
Oh, okay.
No, because I was gonna say like it's like every piece to a puzzle. You're trying to build a puzzle, and you have to go piece by piece. One leads to the other. It just
It's
Crazy
like a
mind
house.
game.
It is. You're right. It's like a puzzle. For me, usually I tell the students that it's a house, right? So you have to have the foundation that's strong, and that's the way your body connects. The foundations need to be strong first, and if the foundations are strong, everything that comes out of there is even better. Because for me, I'm not going to tell you that I go super slow. I'm a capoeirista. My body has its own way of movement. And I just discovered how to integrate that after I got my black belt.
Yes.
When I got my brown belt, I still kind of got in the way, you know. But when I received my black belt, I was kind of like, okay, I got my black belt now. What do? I redefine everything. Just like what you do when you meditate. What do you do when you start meditating, getting to know yourself? You redefine your experiences. You understand that everything happened for a reason. Okay, I got to my black belt. What do I do? Redefine everything. And I was like, do I have to think of jiu-jitsu how other people think of jiu-jitsu? Do I have to move? It's not. I know the pieces by this point. I'm a black belt. I learned the pieces, the basic pieces. And if I go and learn with another black belt, maybe he's going to have a little different way of doing it. And I was like, I can have my own way of doing things too. And my body moves so different because of the flow of capoeira.
Yeah.
When I learned to put my capoeira and my jiu-jitsu as one,
Your whole game changed.
yeah, and then I did the same to my capoeira. I did the same to my capoeira.
That's sick, bro.
I want to bring back a little bit of the chat here, guys. We have a few awesome comments going on. Nando goes into this and he says, this is actually one of the best podcasts live I've ever seen.
Thank you,
Hey.
Nando.
So cool.
Guys,
Yes.
Guys are
Carol,
bombs.
I want to thank you because for bringing this great content, bringing them
Hell
this
yeah,
amazing information for people out there. We have Anna here. She wrote, Ana Carolina Rodriguez. She wrote, she's super inspiring and knowledgeable.
Thank you.
So again, I mean, people are truly thankful for everything you're bringing to us tonight.
We appreciate it.
And
so
we
much
are
too.
thankful as
Yeah.
well because I learned so many
So
things
much,
today.
dude.
You know what I mean? That I'm gonna fucking start implementing tomorrow.
I want to talk.
Are there any questions in the chat? Because I know we haven't been really interacting too much. We always get caught up in the conversation.
No, but people are actually watching a lot and really truly like engaging and just throwing out some compliments out there. And again, but talking about the good times and the bad things, I want to talk about the good times right now, guys. Again,
all right.
we all like to party, we all like to drink, we all like to have a fun time. And again, life is all about a balance, right, Carol? We all talk about being a balance. It's okay to have fun. It's okay if everything you do too much of becomes a problem, but it's okay to drink once in a while if you feel like that's good for you. And I want to bring VELO vodka here for us, guys. VELO vodka, woman-owned brand with great smooth taste. Want to have some fun and also get some electrolytes in your drink? Definitely choose VELO vodka when drinking vodka. Whatever way you prefer, with or without a mixer, maybe even chilled, no worries. It's always going to hit the spot. VELO vodka for you, VELO vodka for us. Let's go. I'm about to make a drink right now.
Very smooth.
And
then-
guys, while Richie's making this drink, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share. That will mean the world to us, guys, because you guys are showing us so much love, and we really appreciate it if you really get the word out there, because the more people we can connect to, the even better. So
Yeah.
like, subscribe, and share, and thank you.
And follow Morena
Yes.
too. What's your Instagram?
Yes.
It's Morena is it underscore?
Underscore.
Underscore, yeah.
I don't know why my language barrier. Underscore rooted strength.
We have her tagged in multiple posts that we already put, guys. Please, guys, the same way you guys are showing us all the love and all the
And
support.
She will
show us
also be in the
cutout.
bio. We'll make sure she's in our video. We'll make sure everything is under the bio, and you'll be able to click right on it and go to her page.
If any women or men have any questions, can they hit you up on the DM?
Yeah, please. By all means, your question might bring me clarity to other things.
You heard
never
that, guys.
know.
See,
Perfect.
we're all here to expand our minds and see different points of views. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. We're here to learn from everybody every day, and that's the whole point of this. Like I said, the whole point of this podcast is to connect people, to show different aspects of life, because none of us go through the same experience, and that's why we want to bring up all these different people, all these different walks of life, and yeah, guys.
And another thing too is that we're three men. You know what I mean? But we're not only talking to men.
Exactly.
You know, we're talking to women as well. You know, and I
worlds.
want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about business aspect, mental aspect, you know, physical aspect, you know, we're talking to men and women. You know, we're not just trying to just better just one gender.
Eric said it perfect.
We're trying to better all genders.
The collective.
Yes.
Collective.
Exactly.
as a whole.
Collectives.
We all work better together.
Talking about the good times, but also now I want to bring up a bad, inconvenient time that sometimes happens to all of us, and I want to talk about Ivan's Collision Center, guys. You know, we all get into those accidents, and I want to just talk about this here real quick. If you want good service, Ivan's Collision Center, a place where your inconvenience becomes truly convenient. Got into an accident, don't want to deal with the insurance bullshit, guys. Don't worry, just give his team a quick call, and they will solve all your problems and deal with all the insurance headaches. Ivan works with a great team who will always be at your best interest. He does everything from tinted windows, collision repair, aftermarket installations, full detail cleaning, and much more. Not only that, we also have an awesome promotion going on right now for every college student that's watching and also wants to need him for any vehicle assistance. He's giving you 25% off your first visit. Don't forget that. He makes your inconvenience very convenient. Hit up Ivan Collision Center.
Yeah.
His IG is ivan.collision.center, 332 Irving Street, Framingham, Massachusetts, from Monday through Saturday. Hit him up, guys.
Yeah.
And guys, just we're in the end. We've already been here a little while. It's always crazy how like time flies. But just to kind of start wrapping it up, Carol, do you have any kind of last messages you want to leave the women watching the chat? I know we said you're talking to men and women, but today we really want to focus on women today and just empowering them and showing them that they matter to us. They're very, very important to us. We would not be here without the women that we have in our lives and all the women in this world. So do you have any last kind of messages you want to leave out there for them?
Sure. My sisters. My sisters. No, it is. We're all brothers and sisters at the end. So my sisters, I invite you to begin a relationship with yourself. No one can start that for you. I invite you to be your best friend. I invite you to treat yourself like the most loved child in your family, and to understand that every day and every word that you use towards yourself and in your world is to empower you for a greater future, and to let you know that I believe in you.
Wow.
Let's go.
And I love you guys. I love every one of you. Thank you guys so much for helping us get to where we're getting to, you know, believing in our movement, believing in our goals. You know, the support is
Unreal,
dude.
We hit 1,000 views in our first video in a week, guys.
which is crazy.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy, and it's honestly motivating us to do even more, to help even more,
this process,
to perfect
even
it.
more.
And guys, please interact with us more. Like we would love to hear more points of views and just let us know what we can do more to be part of what you guys want us to put on this podcast, not only for like what we're doing now, but just in general. Just give us ideas. We're here to talk to you. We're here to make you part of our whole journey with this podcast. We want you guys to be here from beginning to end, and we want to be on this journey with you guys.
And also, if you want to join in the movement, if you feel like you can help somebody, Richard, I believe you have that little form.
Yes, so guys, right on our link tree, if you go on our Instagram, there's a form now. If you want to come along onto our podcast and sit down on this couch and let us pick your brain and just really share what you have to share with everyone who's out there, go on our link tree on our Instagram. You can click on the form. Why do you want to be on Hip Podcast? And you can tell us your story and why you want to be here. And again, we'll contact you within 24 to 48 hours, and we'll make sure we'll schedule that for you.
And guys, when Richie says that, you don't gotta be this like big, huge person. Like we want to talk to everyone, everyday people.
Real.
Like I said, we want to see experiences of everyone's life. Everyone has different experiences. So just tell us your story and let's talk, let's chat, let's really unpack things and show people that we can all relate on a lot of different topics.
Yeah. Ana Carolina Lima, Morena. Thank you so much. You know, I love you so much. You know, I consider you my family, and I always will consider you my family. And it was truly a blessing having you on this podcast and spreading your love and your knowledge to everyone that's listening.
I am grateful to shed light.
Yeah, this is the High Empower Podcast.
High Empower Podcast,
Hey,
guys.
And we're not going to stop until we achieve greatness to the top.
I want to talk real quick, guys. We're going to be dropping a giveaway right after this episode. It's going to go live on Instagram. For everyone who comments, who shares our post, and for subscribes to our channel, they will be entering the giveaway for next week. We have Stay Golden giving away a spray tan for whoever wins. And also we have another $100 gift card going out for whoever wins.
Whoa.
So if you want to win $100... if you want to win $100 and also get a spray tan by Stay Golden, stay tuned, go on the post, repost it, like it, and tag 3 friends so you can participate. All right, guys? Again, Carol, thank you so much.
Obrigado.
Wow.
Thank you all.
Honestly, you changed so many people's perspectives tonight. I know that for a fact.
Mine, 100%.
We are so
my mind is
thankful
open.
for everything.
chills.
We're so thankful
That's
for
the
everybody.
chills.
If you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't liked, if you haven't shared, go right now. We rely on you guys to succeed and reach out to more people. Help us out. Help us get there. And again, what is this, guys?
The High Empower Podcast.
Yeah,
Let's go.
love you,
And
Power
wait,
family.
guys, one more time, just to really get it in there. Women, you are beautiful.
We
are
love you.
needed. You are perfect. Do not let anyone tell you different. Thank you.
One last thing. Vision. Guys, Vision Agency. None of this would happen without them. Look at this. JP's right there behind the scenes controlling all the sound effect. Put the clap out there for JP, guys, and Vision Agency.
Hey, JP, I love you.
We love you, JP. Thank you so much for taking all your time. Today, we actually have a special guest here with us, too. Bruna, his wife, his girlfriend, again, taking care of us. Bruna, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for lending your man to us every week and almost every day, and we really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much, guys, for joining in with
Love
Hit
y'all.
Podcast. Let's go. Stay tuned next week. It's going to be a great conversation as well.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned,
Guys, we got a lot packed for you, so just tune in.
Real quick, I mean, what's going on next week?
They got to stay tuned. That's what they got to do.
All right, so watch the stories. Watch our
Follow us on
posts.
Instagram. Like, subscribe, and we love you, Power Family.
Carol, we love you.
Stay hip.
Thank you, women out there.
Stay
We all
hip,
love you.
guys.
We out. Let's go.